There we go.
Yeah,
So welcome
much
to
better.
episode 16 of Korea Talk, where we're going to break down the groups, and we're going to talk about our thoughts on the quarterfinals. And I guess reluctantly we will talk a bit about Jin Air and their chances at IEM, even though I have no idea what IEM
Yeah,
or what other teams will be at IEM. So let's start off with Group A and how Group A ended. With the Flash Wolves going 3-0. Ku going 2-1, CLG going 0-3, and Pain going 1-2 in week 2. And we have Flash Wolves coming out first and Ku coming out second, which totally fucks the quarterfinals because we already have Ku versus KT. But what are your thoughts on Ku week 2?
Disappointing they lost.
Ku week 2. Yeah, Ku week 2 was like the same as Ku week 1. Like they literally were exactly the same. They wrecked CLG, they wrecked Pain, and then they dropped a game to Flash Wolves. And it was like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened either. Oh well, I guess they just did it. Oh well. And then it was also the most anticlimactic win as well because I was all ready for the Flash Wolves versus CLG tiebreaker. I was ready for the memes. I was ready to fucking rub it in CLG's fans' face again. I was like, yeah, your team's shit. Your team is shit. Your team is shit. And then Flash Wolves just beat Ku, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess apparently Wolves are the ultimate hard counter to Tigers. Like, who would have known?
Yeah, Flash Wolves plays bad against everybody, and then against Ku they win twice. It's like, what's going on in that group? Like, Ku's, like I don't know, Ku, I don't know, maybe they disrespect them or just like they had some issues with the LeBlanc. I remember, like that's just Maple just totally dumpster them. Like they had.
In both games, like the way that Flash Wolves won was Maple did something stupid and like something stupidly good, as it were, and like Kuro was just ooh, and then they lost. Like that was how like LeBlanc put them over in game 2 and the GP put them over in game 1. Like credit to Flash Wolves and credit to Maple, standout player, mate. Fucking hats off for that shit. Like that was a bang tidy LeBlanc play right there. Might be the best LeBlanc that's not Korean in this tournament. Because I'm not going to say you're better than Faker. But you know what? Good fucking player right there. And you know what? Like, that Carter guy, he's good as well. NL was pretty good. Like, the whole team generally played pretty well in week 2. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good team in that. And they've done Taiwan proud. But it was a bit fucking disappointing to see to just see Kuro play Azir again. Why is he playing Azir? Why are you playing Azir and then play it against LeBlanc? Like that's the stupidest. Like if there's anyone who's gonna get the fucking face kicked in, it's Kuro on Azir versus LeBlanc. Like
Kuro's Azir is really bad. It's always been bad.
He's pulling the long con. He's trying to be Bang and pull the long con and get Bane bans. And so this time he's trying to get Azir bans.
No, that all worked this time. But also, like, just Gorilla and Prey got cut off so many times. Even when they saw Maple just walking around him, they kept getting caught. It was a weird game. Like, very, very disappointing from Ku. It was not good at all. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they were sandbagging. You know, we'll use the Chinese excuse. They were sandbagging.
Yeah, that's right. They were sandbagging and like they were pretending to be worse than they are. LGD are actually would have won Worlds, but they were pretending to be worse than they are so they could focus on LPL next split. I'm just gonna go out with that. Like that's how fucking this works. If your team loses, they were sandbagging. CLG sandbagging, Cloud9 sandbagging, Pain sandbagging. All these teams sandbagging. I wish one day all these teams actually play to their true level and then we will actually get to see who's the best team in the world. Until then, it's just whichever team can be bothered to show up, basically. That's how apparently it works now.
No, I mean... No, it was a legit win, but it's weird when Flash was like only half of the games can like show up, but then it's always against Ku for some reason and they just like don't... they don't actually play well against Flash Wolves.
The games they played against Pain were like really close, and those are the only close games that contained Pain outside of CLG trolling on random retarded picks.
Yeah, that was a good point. Like Flash was had this weird thing where like, they could beat Ku but lose to Pain. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
like,
that's
some fucking alliance shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this Flash Wolves team? Like, they're the most inconsistent team ever, or something. Like. At their height, they can beat Korean teams, but at their lowest, they'll lose to Brazilian teams. The Flash Wolves, you never know what you're gonna get. Like, what the fuck is this?
Group A was weird. It was like mostly like it's super disappointing for CLG. Like they should have done way more. Like we said the week before, like yeah, CLG, Flash Wolves loses to Pain, they're out, and then CLG like loses to everybody as well, and then CLG like whole of NA like.
I think CLG got lucky that they played their games on Thursday, and that LGD was a bigger LGD, IG, and China itself were a bigger like embarrassment than CLG was, even though CLG is by far the biggest disappointment, solely because of the group they got. I mean, if you have a team that loses to the wildcard team and you still don't make it out, you got a lot of explaining to do.
Like literally everything that could have gone right for CLG went right in that group. But when you think about it, not only did Flash Wolves lose to Pain, but they also beat Crew Tigers twice in a row. So like that was like you can't ask for a better chance to get out of groups. I don't think. Like I'm not going to say this is the weakest Worlds group ever, because there's still that group with Starhorn, Royal Club, TSM, SK Gaming, and TPA last year. But like it was a fucking it was a dog shit group. Like let's be honest here.
I think this is worse. I think this group is worse than that group you brought up, because I don't see either of these teams really getting past quarters.
Well, no.
Like, at least that one, Starhorn Royal Club made it to the finals to fall apart again.
You get your wish. Ku can try and beat KT, but I don't think they're gonna do it.
I think that'll be a good game.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
We're going to get into that Ku versus KT shit later on. Because everyone's tweeted at me like, oh, it's going to be a 3-0, it's going to be a 3-0. Like, there's no evidence to say it's going to be a 3-0. There's literally no evidence to say it's going to be a 3-0. We're going to get into that later on.
Pretty good.
It will be good.
We'll get into that later on.
Yeah, we'll get in later. I just mean, like, if Ku doesn't make it out of quarters, and now there's Flash Wolves, I think this could legitimately be called the weakest group outside of Season 2 that was created and played. It's just like, this is the weakest Worlds group, and CLG was not able to make it out, and that's
true.
There's so many things to be
ended up
questionable.
last. They ended up that last. I mean, they tied last with
They tied.
Pain.
Yeah, and it goes worse than that as well, because like CLG, like they only had one strategy this entire world. It's like, how can you come to World Championships with only one composition? Like the composition was like Double F could play nothing but Jinx and Lulu. Sorry, Jinx and Tristana.
Yeah, he did that the whole playoffs, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't understand how this happens. Like, you're in your scrim, you're like, right, we're doing well on Jinx, doing well on Tristana. Do you think we should practice other picks? No, that'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. They'll never get both of those picks away from us. They didn't even need to. Like, the last one, Ku Tigers versus COG was legitimately one of the most one-sided games in this tournament. Like,
both of them.
Both of them were just. Ku tore them fucking limb from limb. Like, that was embarrassing. Like, fucking there were just so many times where Smeg just started styling on the entire CLG, just with these little movements. Like, I mean, that Kennen game, I still can't get over that. But like his Darius game as well, like holy shit, like just disgusting. Like if I was Zion, I'd just retire. Like if someone beat me that badly and I was a professional player, like I'm done now. I'm fucking done here. Like this guy's fucking embarrassed me. He's embarrassed me in the biggest matches of my whole life. He's made me look like shit. This man made Zion Spartan look like a fucking amateur.
Yeah, Zion's
it's embarrassing.
Your question was, it's not even just that. Like, you're getting into the actual gameplay. I would look at pick and ban and be like, why is Echo being prioritized? Like Echo's been picked other times in Worlds, but he's never been picked as a jungler really. He's top lane and mid.
And it was first pick, like COG first pick last year. Like, wow, we've stolen the Echo power pick.
Xmity was so dominant on it during the playoffs that they for them it's a power pick, but that doesn't mean you have to first pick it away from. They're the only team that actually played in the jungle.
Well, they had Tristana and Braum were their other two picks that could have been first picked and would have been. I don't know if they would have been better, but it would have been like not as easy to be like, oh, Echo, it's definitely jungle.
But there's no one on Ku who plays Echo. Like Kuro's not going to play Echo, is he? Like, and then is Smeg going to play Echo when Darius is open? Like, we took away the Echo, guys. Okay, I'll just pick Darius. Oh, Well, don't worry, we'll flex it to the jungle. Okay, well, you left like Rek'Sai open. Brilliant. That's amazing pick and ban strategy. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You have some professional coaches there. Like, who thought this was a good idea? Oh no, but it was watching Crew Tigers beat CLG was a very, very happy and satisfying moment for me. It was extremely satisfying to watch Gorilla on Town Kench like eat somebody, put him onto the Jinx chompers, and then just watch Bray just fucking annihilate that. Death. Like Gorilla put on a masterclass in that Tom Kench game. Like I don't think I would go on limb and say best Tom Kench in the world. Like, you know, no one can really compare to him on that champion. No one has shown mechanics on that champion on the same level that he has.
I mean, the guy from HQ, Elvis, did okay on it. I think he played that.
Yeah, but the combos that AHQ did weren't as smooth as them. Yeah, weren't as good, and the combos they were doing, like with the Devour and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
I would say I didn't really see any ultimates from Gorilla and been like, huh, that's kind of dumb. Where there were definitely a few by Albus where he's like, he brought Anne into the like enemy team and was like, ooh, whoops.
I think the worst thing about that was that.
But when Gorilla does that, it's like fucking brilliant. Like that bit where he comes down from top lane into the jungle, like right into the middle of the team with Prey, like, let's go, boys. Like it was fucking brilliant. The whole Gorilla, Gorilla in the games that they won, he put on a fucking masterclass of how you play support right now. Like just truly.
But then another game,
incredible to watch. Like
specials, he just like does dumb shit.
Oh yeah, but like the best part is about him as well. He played like I don't think he played the same champion twice in this group stages either.
I would have to check. Wait. I can check.
He played Thresh, Leona, Tom Kench.
But
he played
Alistair,
Morgana.
Morgana.
Wait, let me check. Tom Kench. He played Leona. That's 4. He played Kennen. That's 5. And then the last one is Trash. Yeah, 6. That's actually 6. Yeah, he played 6 different champions. Holy shit.
Yeah, he played 6 different champions in 6. What a fucking beast! Like, who the fuck else can do that? Like, play 6 different champions. So like, the worst part is his Thresh is legitimately like one of the best Threshers in the world. Like his Leona play was sick. Like he doesn't go on a champion and it's like an okay performance. Like he has that kind of faker-like quality where he picks a champion and it's fucking incredible. Like he does shit with it and you're like, I don't even know anyone you could do that with that champion. How's that fucking possible? Like he's a fucking genius, that kid.
Easy group.
I mean, yeah, it was an easy group, but you know what? Like it's disappointing that Crew didn't 6-0 because you know what they probably should have done, and they'll probably look at themselves and go, "Why didn't we 6-0 in that group?" But what we'll say about Flash Wars is they have the same problem. So what we'll say about Crew is they have the same problem that KT had, where they randomly drop games to not very good teams, to like bizarre kind of. Sometimes it looks like they just kind of go and just.
Might be also just. Like the last Flash Wars game, they just wanted to try some, because like we all know Kerr is bad on Nazir. Like there's a reason, like when they played versus KT in the semifinals, like that they never wanted to pick a team because they will never lose with it, win with it. It's like weird as comp. In general, put Prey on.
Like I don't even know if it's. I don't even know if it's like Kura's not like a terrible Azir player. The problem is like Crew Tigers look like fundamentally they played against CLG and it was like okay, like but then there was that moment where Kuro like got 1v1'd in lane by Pobel's Viger on the Azir anyway. Like I think that was just, you know, like the rest of Ku were just wrecking CLG so hard it didn't really fucking matter. But like for me, Ku just looked fundamentally like uncomfortable on Azir. It just looks like they don't practice it enough, and because Kuro doesn't feel confident on that champion, so they have no reason to pick it, which makes it weird that they put such a heavy prioritization on it in the group stage matches. They played it twice. Like there were games where Kuro picked Azir when Victor was open. Like
yeah, they played.
Yeah, like I don't understand.
They played it a lot.
Like for me, if I was Kuro and Victor was open, I'd be like Victor, every single time. Victor's open, I'll take it every single time.
Because Victor's clearly his best champion.
Because you either get Victor and body the whole game, or You suck up a ban and let Smeb get a power pick, and then he bodies the whole game. Like that's the way it goes, kind of thing. And if they ban a Victor, then you're more likely to get the Lulu pick. Yasuo is still pretty good as well. Like he's more likely to get his Orianna as well, which is pretty good. He didn't play that once. Like, I don't know. I don't get you, Kuro. Sometimes you're a weird guy.
But I think in the quarterfinals they're gonna like play more their picks, like their actual good picks, and they just didn't want to do too much in the group stage either, not show too much, because it's Kuro will play Victor like way more than anything else, but he didn't pick it like I think maybe once. But
yeah. Like I will say this, I mean, it is a legitimate argument that, Ku were probably extremely confident of getting out of group stages in this thing, probably thought they would comfortably 6-0, and therefore decided that they would hide certain picks and stuff like that, because they know that, like, ranked amongst the Korean teams, they're the weakest of the Korean teams in terms of how if you do, like, a ranking of them. So therefore, they have to try and hide something because, like, they didn't, they didn't get, like, a strong team in their group kind of thing. Like, KT got LGD, and who turned out to be shit anyway, and Origin, who were like turned out to be much better than we thought they were. Well, at least the irrational person thought they were going to be.
I thought they would be
so I'm avoid it. And and then SKT got EDG, who while they turned out to be a lower level, still look okay.
Yeah,
so
well, SKT SKT didn't show anything, dude.
No, exactly. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I understand from the Ku Tigers' perspective why they would go into that and just hide certain strategies and stuff like that. Because for them, it's like, why put it all on the table right now? Why not hide? Because Ku Tigers didn't really show anything that was like sort of particularly out there and wacky, except for that Tom Kent, which I'd never seen Gorilla play before yet, and he was amazing on it. So. Like, I think they wanted at least cheese one game off the first Korean team, which is now KT Rolls. I think they were planning to at least cheese a game off them. You know what I mean? In the same way they cheesed that game off Nudging with the Malphite pick. Like, I definitely think they were planning on like a last pick just to kind of cheese a single. Because if they can get a single game off KT, like last time they went 3-2 with KT. So if they in their mindset, if they can cheese that one game, then they can maybe have a better chance of grinding out that best of 5 kind of thing and sort of taking the win over it. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Well, we'll get to the we'll get to the KT coup, but what did you guys think of Flash Wolves then? Because I mean, definitely you could see a couple stars on that team.
Yeah, like Maple and Cars are really something. Sword Art on occasion. Like, he is their star support, but like
Sword Art's either there or not.
Yeah, that's it, right? Sometimes he's big, and otherwise it's like.
What I like about the Flash Wolves is that I always maintain it's better for a team to play in a less optimal way if they feel comfortable in it than a team trying to play in an optimal way that they don't feel comfortable. It's obvious that Flash Wolves are a very mid-centric team, when obviously being in the meta, you shouldn't be a mid-centric team if you're playing by the meta and playing the most optimal kind of way. But for Flash Wolves, what I like is that it's almost like they don't care that the most optimal way is actually to play like around your top lane and stuff like that. Now, they did adapt in the sense that State got more jungle pressure and more resources than they did in their playoff, which was again good to see, because this is a team that's obviously very clever about the way they adapt, but they didn't totally remove their thing of no longer a mid-century team. Like, Carter still ganked mid lane a lot, and like I also like that Carter and Maple really refuse to be defined by the meta, because Carter still plays very much like a carry style jungler and takes a lot of resources, when that's almost no jungler plays like that now, really, who's on the world stage. And Maple still plays like a greedy kind of, I'm going to fucking body this game. And I like that, because although it's not the most optimal way of playing, it works for them. And it's like, play to your strengths. And, so they play with their strengths, and that compensates for their weaknesses, I think. So that's why I actually quite liked Flash Wolves and some of the games they had. And I actually thought, I think they're a legit team. I just think they need to work on the fucking consistency issues. That's all I think we need to do. Just if they were a little bit more consistent, I think they'd be a much better team.
Flash Wolves is playing Origin. I'm thinking about because I think Flash was gonna have a problem against better mid laners, but then he has to play against Expected, so it's like that would be an interesting matchup actually. But Soas will maybe have a slight. Actually, I don't think that much. I think Origin versus Ding will be a lot depending on the bot lane, but yeah, we'll get to that later. Yeah, I think Flash Wolves is like they're very hit and miss, but they play their style. They play it well though. Is they can get to it,
What,
but they don't have that many strategies.
what I would say about that,
They have a lot
yeah,
of
what I would say that about
yeah, sir.
yeah, and what I would say about Flash Wolves as well is like when you run down the roster of AHQ based on this tournament, and then you run down the roster of Flash Wolves based on this tournament, if you were able to combine the two, you'd have a fucking sick team there. Like you'd have a fucking beast of a team. Like if you like, I mean, the team might suffer from too many carries, and that is legit like a thing that happens. We saw, you know, it happened before. But if you wanted a Taiwanese super team, if you're like some like Taiwanese billionaire and you got money to put up against these LPL billionaires, but like you want to get Ziv, Casa, Maple, Anne, and Sordar, that would be a legitimately fucking disgusting team. Like those players all showed, like they all had moments where they looked like S tier Kessler players, and yet all of them at least were consistently like A to B T Kessler players. You know what I mean? Like that was really a fucking like Ziv had a fucking banging group stage. Like he really did. Like that game against he had a it's a shame for me that the two best Taiwanese teams like almost they were fixed together so well like a jigsaw, but obviously then they would only have one good team rather than two good teams, so it's a difficult one for Taiwan.
Well, but they're still like they have two teams that got out of the groups. That's amazing. Like first time ever, and they're legit actually good world class teams. Even though
So
an import here or there would.
One last thing before we move. Yeah.
No.
I'll say one last thing before we move past Group A is, what did you guys think of Stake? Because coming in, Stake was like hailed as one of the worst non-wildcard top laners, and it seems like, I think Sam, you might know a bit more about this because you said you watched some of the LMS games, but from what I saw from those games, was that Stake wasn't really necessarily terrible. It's just that he would forego CS and forego gold in order to be safe and not die and let his team get the gold. So instead of trying to squeak out the extra few XP or last hit on a creep, he would just sit under turret or just go jungle or do something that would not involve any chance of him dying.
But if he got some jungle pressure,
it seems like
he was like a lot more free to like he wouldn't do that. If he gets jungle pressure, then he's actually more active and will fight. I mean, he won't lose lane that much.
So I mean, for me coming in, like I think a lot of people misread Flash Wolves quite seriously because a lot of people are like, oh, NL is like a really garbage AD carry and Stake is like not a good top laner at all. And people are saying like even Mylon from Pain is going to be like beasting on Stake. Now, I will say that I don't think Stake is like a really good player, and but I mean, first off, you got to remember he is the team captain for that team, so it's probably he does quite a lot of, and he is also the oldest player on that team, so he probably does quite a lot of emotional kind of support for the team. But also, I do think that he stepped up his own individual performance in this tournament, which meant that Flash Wolves, it was a mixture of two things, like Stake stepped up his individual performance because it's not like Stake never got jungle resources in their LMS run. Like Flash Wolves played how they did because that was for them the most optimal way of playing the game. And Stake was very good before at doing like a decent amount with fuck all. Now he showed that he was good at doing, like, if you gave him the resources, he would act like a top laner who had those resources should act. You know what I mean? He always played how a top laner, how the best you could expect a not threat top laner to play. You know what I mean? For me, so I don't think he stepped up. Like, I don't think he was legitimately amazing or anything like that. But I do think that he looked better and he looked like he was more comfortable with getting resources and stuff like that, which was good to see from him personally.
I think he's never going to be a carry top laner like Sif would be if you want to keep the LMS region. But he did step up in a way of just like surviving lane and doing well with it. I think it's kind of Trace like, except that he actually has a bigger champion pool than Trace.
Yeah, bizarrely.
But yeah, no, I think Stake was alright. He didn't. Like, if you look at performance-wise, like he actually performed better than Sport, which I think everybody actually rated higher than him, for example, as a top laner. But Stake did like okay, you know. Yeah, he's gonna have a problem.
Yeah, and I think
even stronger top laners. I mean, yeah.
I just don't think it was as much of a weakness for the Flashers as people made out it was. Like, I think people made out that like the top lane was this big exploitable hole. And while we didn't see a team provide the same level of jungle pressure that that game when SKT versus EDG, where Bengi just kept fucking diving Amazing J, like just over and over again. Like, there wasn't a game like that, and that's what I want to see against the Flashers. I want to see like the opposite. Like, if you proper focus him, you focus him in like a Dyrus or Amazing JS manner, what does he do in that situation? That's what I want to see for a team do to the Flashers, and that's what I probably think that will happen to them in the quarterfinals. But I do think the State played well. He definitely played a lot better than he did in his Season 3 Worlds Championship anyway. And he played a lot. This might be like the best tournament he's ever played, you know what I mean?
The issue with trying to compare it to Season 3 was they drew SKT in their first games and just got shit stomped because it was SKT.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that happened. But
so I would want to try and compare it to that. I'd be like, oh right, yeah, we forgot that seeding into quarterfinals straight is pretty stupid of an idea.
I mean, what I'll say about what I'm trying to say about the Flashers is, like, for me as a team, they looked like they had something to prove, because it looked like they very much had a chip on their shoulder based on how Season 3 Worlds went down, how they didn't get in how they didn't make it to Season 4, and they looked like they had something to prove. And they did prove, you know, strength of both their own team and of the Taiwanese region. So, yeah, and I do think that Stake, yeah, as I said, like, Stake played the best tournament he's ever played. Like, I've never seen Stake look this good. Like, I've dipped in and out of LMS, and I'll be watching it a lot more next year. So that's exciting. I'm going to be trying to write articles about LMS as well.
Anything else you guys want to talk about with A? Group A?
Just
besides like the disappointments.
Well, I'm not going to harp on CLG because you know what, their games do that for me. But
True.
Like, for me, the last game, CLG versus Pain, the reason why I got so annoyed by that game was because CLG, like, when they did all those troll picks, like, you could tell they couldn't be bothered. But for Pain, that's a big match. Like, every game for a wildcard team is a big opportunity to prove themselves. Yeah. And I think that the reason CLG played as they did was because they were so afraid of losing, they just picked a bunch of shit so they could be like, oh, if we lose, it doesn't actually matter, kind of thing. And, like, you could almost hear it in, like, the Double F interview did afterwards as well. They was like, you know, so, yeah, we lost to Pain, like, it's like whatever kind of thing. Like, trying to brush off the loss. Because, but this is the first time a wildcard team's ever won 2 matches at Worlds, which is a big deal. And this Pain team legitimately, you know, was the best wildcard team we've ever seen. And, you know, it's exciting to see how Brazil will continue to improve in the future. So it just felt like CLG stole something from them in that last game, which was just depressing because, you know what, like, Pain actually played a really good game in that last game. Like, that BRTT Draven was, like, pretty legit. I mean, it wasn't, like, amazing, but it was pretty legit. So it just annoyed me to see a team kind of troll like that in the final game and pick those kind of, like, shit pick, almost going into the game going, oh, we don't care if we win or lose. And then, because it steals something away from Pain. And it's like the narrative that Pain finally, a wildcard team finally won 2 games in group stages of the Worlds and didn't come dead last, has been almost like, has an asterisk above it now, in the sense of Pain technically, CLG trolling that last game. But I think CLG would have lost that game regardless anyway. I think if they'd gone into it all guns blazing, like, if, let's say, Ku beat Flash Wolves in that final game and then Pain had to beat, CLG had to beat Pain to make it to the tiebreaker, I still think Pain would have won that game. But, which is depressing because now there's an asterisk but that it doesn't need to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say they definitely would win, but I think the tide was in their favor. I would put them above 50% for the game simply because of how CLG was playing those games. But yeah, it was kind of reminiscent to Gaming Gear EU versus TSM, where they didn't even pick their own lanes. They just picked random champions and played.
That's so American to do, because you're out of the groups and then you're not even trying anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad because, like,
no,
like,
okay,
I think nowadays, if a team did that, they'd probably get fined by Riot. Like, so it wasn't that bad, but it was still pretty bad. Like, yeah. I'm still surprised that, like, there was that point in LCS Europe where Pepinero played Lucian AD carry, like, against Fnatic, and obviously they got their fucking head caved in. I still think, you know, I'm still surprised Giants didn't get fined for that game in a sense, but maybe they managed to convince them it was a just
I personally think you should be allowed to do that, to be honest. Switch roles within game. I can help it. I find that strategically an interesting option that you could be able to do that. Of course, no teams does it because it's hard to master two roles, but I would love a team that actually can flex players. You know how CLG you sometimes flexed Wicked and Froggen when for the Malphite picks and stuff was weird shit. I think that's legit strategically should be able to allow it, so fine for that's but
yeah, but like I mean it's one of them, like it's fine to do it, but it's like in the right context. Like you do it and you look like you actually want to win the game, it's fine. But CLG for me didn't look like they wanted to win that game, which puts a permanent asterisk above Payne's performance, which is sad because I actually think Payne can go home and be extremely proud of that performance at Worlds. Like, and if that region continues to work hard and continues to improve, like it might get to the point where next time a wildcard team actually manages to make out a group that they get the right draw and that kind of thing. So, yeah, like
you think Brazil should be taken out of the wild card and given its own
100%.
I believe so, but yeah, I'm not sure they're gonna do that. Probably not.
Like.
I mean, it ends up the same way. Brazil will always win the international wildcard tournament. They just have to play a couple extra games.
Of all wildcard teams, they're the only. Brazil is the only wildcard region to legit win games.
Yeah, like for me, the only slight thing I have going against that is the international wildcard qualifier for MSI. The Brazilian team didn't make it; the Turkish team made it instead. But that was heavily due to like the fucking terrible jet lag. That I can't remember what Brazilian team played. I think it was Ints, but I'm not sure. I think so. It might have been Payne actually. It probably was Payne.
No,
I think there was a lot of. I think there was a lot of speculation about that game too because they were playing in Turkey, weren't they?
Yeah, like,
and it was. I believe it was.
Ints got like screwed up. Like there were so many fans yelling that Ints was. I mean, like the team was always aware what something was going to happen or something. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like shit,
I'm not saying that
quality during the international wildcard tournaments. Like the LAN is always like sometimes there's no LAN and they have to play on 50 to 100 ping, and then when they get to the LAN, there's no good soundproof boots or headsets. It's always like such crap quality.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that Payne, like I'm not saying Brazil don't deserve that automatic spot. I would say 100% deserve an automatic spot at World Championships. You shouldn't have to go through the wildcard. You should put all the other wildcard regions and have to force them back out, because not only does it like it also kind of screws over Latin American teams as well, because now they have to share their qualifier with Brazilian teams who they can't beat, but they might be better than Japanese teams or GPL teams, or actually there was that one game where GPL team did some stuff, but we'll get to that later. But like they might, it screws over a Latin American team's chance of making. Because the point of wildcard is that it should you get the best of like the other regions kind of thing. But now Brazil, I think, have proved that they're so much better than the other wildcard regions that you need to take them out of the wildcard in order to have the spirit of wildcard continue on, I think. So as somebody who's quite supportive of wildcard, I think the pain now, like Brazil, now needs to be taken out of it, and now there should be one wildcard team and one Brazilian team at Worlds.
Yeah, it would be, because right now Brazil kind of fucks over the other two regions that are always put in their group, because they will never be able to beat the Brazilian team.
Yeah, but that's Latin America North and Latin America South.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Is it? Oh,
I thought it was. No, it wasn't Japan. No.
CIS maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. The other team region was.
Okay. Well, whatever regions are in Payne's like part of the international wildcard, I kind of screwed out Brazil's. Payne is synonymous with Brazil now for me. I was in Payne, Brazil's part of the wildcard thing. I'm screwed over by this. So, I need to just go. You know what? Brazil can have their own wildcard spot, or have their own spot automatically, and then we'll just give the rest of wildcard one spot, because I think it would actually benefit all wildcard teams, not just Brazil. And I think it's necessary for because if a wildcard team, the idea of wildcard is these regions haven't proven themselves to be on the level of the major 5 regions. That's why they don't get an automatic spot. And I think Brazil have proved themselves to be a clear-cut number 6. Therefore, they need that spot to continue the growth of the region as well. Apart from anything, it will provide more motivation for players, which will make them more light, which should improve the region as well, I think.
Okay. Well, I would agree with that, but let's move on to Group C, where the other wildcard team played, and you were talking about that. So Group C, we're going to go over real quick because there's not really much. Group C was Group C. Yay.
Big more stomps from SKT.
So.
It's like slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
SKT just
SKT
walked
games
by
are boring.
and killed everybody. And then that was great.
Those SKT EDG games are so anticlimactic. Like, just
second one was
fucking.
even worse.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
I said,
I knew it.
why are they hyping this? These are not good. Like, no game SKT is going to play is going to be interesting. The SKT versus Ryu.
Oh yeah.
SKT versus Ryu is not going to be interesting. SKT versus EDG, not going to be interesting.
I thought it was so BM. I mean, I get why, because they were secured after 4 games. So at that point, easyhoon got to play, because there was no risk them losing thing. But Ryu didn't get a second game versus Faker, so there goes the storyline. Immediately was versus the Hoon.
Wait. Yeah.
So he plays that and get shit on?
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, SKT far above the other teams in that group. Like just disgusting play. Like I don't think Bang died. Like, Bang died like once or something in that whole fucking in that whole group.
Like he has something of 70. Well, actually check it out. Actually, this kid is ridiculously high right now. I don't think SKT looked to me just as good as they looked in Korea when they 3-0'd KT. Like it was, but like the games were like just like a complete almost destruction, like beating people in like 23 minutes kind of thing, like just a complete blowout. Like it's not even,
KDA is 71.
Yeah, wow, 71 KDA. Like fucking.
Which I believe is higher than Fakers when they were doing what was it? When the two teams played together against the others.
Oh yeah.
Masters.
Masters, yes, Masters. God, I wish I came back. It's so much fun to watch Masters.
The other issue as well is like obviously Bang's quite a safe AD carry, so he normally has quite a high KDA. But this is ridiculous, like a 71 KDA. Like he dies, drops to 35.
So one-sided, like, and he plays pretty safe AD carry as well, like picking Silver twice and stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about EDG versus Bangkok Titans? I believe that's what you want to talk about.
Yeah, like EDG looks fucking shit in that game. Shit.
Yeah. EDG like.
Pawn getting solo killed on Yasuo, like really? Like fucking G4. Who's G4? I thought it was a phone.
I can.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they still won, but I think this was like the closest I've seen of a terrible team playing.
It was way too close.
But
I have no problem with EDG getting crushed by SKT, but when they're having issues beating wildcard teams in H2K, then it's like, maybe EDG's not gonna do anything. Like, I mean, like they fucking need to get Koro in. Like that's the only hope I see for EDG right now, because they don't look good at all.
Just that amazing Jay, that guy is fucking shit. Like, why is he even? He's like there's gotta be someone better in China. Like, there's gotta be.
There's
like,
so many people better.
He's Taiwanese. He's from Taiwan.
Is Amazing Jay Taiwanese?
Wait, they can have Taiwanese players?
Yeah, I think you gotta remember right now, it might change, but right now the LPL is ran by Tencent, so Tencent really with their residency can really do what they want. Like they're like
I
you gotta
think
remember,
he came in before it, but the residency for them is like brutal.
Like not only did Tencent have the residency requirement in there before Riot did, that's why when originally Koreans were playing in China, they had the residency requirement before North American and European teams did. That's why that Starhawk Real Club didn't recruit more than 2 Koreans, because they weren't allowed to by Tencent. But also, like, I don't actually think that due to the horrendously complex Taiwan and Chinese situation, I actually don't think that I don't think a Chinese organization will ever say that a Taiwanese player is not Chinese. I don't think they'll ever actually agree to that, because
I think
China still refers to Taiwan as Chinese Taipei. So
he's from Hong Kong, so I mean it's even it's just the Chinese island. China still sees that as theirs. So
yeah, okay.
But then it always raises the question, like, what happens if like a player like Ziv wants to go play in the LPL? I mean, would he count as an import or would he count as a Chinese national? I mean, right now there are no Taiwanese players that play in the LPL, but there could be.
He'd probably consider himself a foreign, but I'm pretty sure China would be like, no, you are us.
Yeah, you are Chinese. You're not allowed to leave now, by the way, as well.
Yeah,
people get over that border, mate.
Get Sif to EDG, man. Like, Jesus, already no place.
So.
Group C is just...
Anything else to say about Group C? Besides SKT look like they're going to win the tournament?
Yeah, SKT are the clear, like, favourite to win that whole thing.
They already were.
The whole tournament now for me.
Now it's disgustingly high.
Like, it didn't seem like they gave a shit in any of their games. Like, Olaf mid.
Hey, that's
in a competitive game.
That was a
Olaf
counter to the Aurelia mid, man. Like, he counterpicked it.
Yeah.
Mid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Olaf mid, I could see it in solo queue. Okay. Olaf mid in a competitive fucking
he
game.
plays everything. He played Master Yi twice during the regular season and the Aurelia as well. So.
Wait, hold on a second here, okay. So, there's been Olaf mid picks before. There was a time where Zero, when he was a mid laner for the KT roster Arrows, right throwback here, played Olaf mid against... might have been MVP below. I don't know. Anyway, there was a point where Zero was a mid laner. He was an alright mid laner as well. He played Olaf and a OGN regular, like an OGN group stage match. Like, because he got the wave clear. Like, Olaf can wave clear all day long. Olaf's a mid laner for me, mate. Like, just because he sometimes goes
and then
the
he
top
went
lane.
to jungle and played terribly. So we're not going to talk about Zero. He's not at the World Championship. It's just, SKT did not play like they gave a shit about their group. They're like, yeah, we saw it. We're getting a 6-0. Do we have to play these? Oh, we do have to play them? I guess we'll show up to France. Like, if they didn't have to, they probably would have, like, thrown a B team at them and been like, have fun, guys. We'll see you in London.
Yeah, SKT have taken 2 days of holiday now as well. They've taken a day of holiday in France and a day of holiday in London. Anyone who follows the SKT Twitter, if you don't follow it, you're missing out on some quality shit. They've put some fun shit there.
Best pictures, though. That's so funny.
But yeah, so SKT have taken 2 days of holiday break now as well. Really worried for London, guys. Really worried. Like,
I mean, they took like a fucking 2-week break after summer finals before Worlds. Everybody
hanging out in Hawaii.
Everybody prepared for Worlds. SKT's like in Hawaii with their shirts going on squat on mountain bikes and shit. Like, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like for me it was like SKT were the clear best, and then EDG were the best of the worst. Really, like that group was when I thought maybe EDG would take a game and then it would go to a tiebreaker, because both would be too busy hiding strats, but I don't think EDG fans can claim they were hiding strats. Just got their fucking head caved in, like.
Yeah, even if there were, I mean,
like you don't get mad when you make Marin look like he's the best top laner in the world, like.
Yeah, he legit.
People say Marin's the best player in this entire tournament. Yeah. I don't think so. I just think Marin's the kind of guy where if you're not very good, he's just gonna fucking destroy you, like.
Yeah.
It's like the worst top laners.
The whole group stage was
selection.
Group C just was like, oh yeah, SKT. So like Marin, like. I legit think Sunday played better during group stage, but Marin has such a nice group that he just looked like 10 times, like, he looked better than Sunday, but he didn't play better than Sunday at all. It's like, it's not very hard. He just gets all that jungle attention.
Let's move on to Group D, and the last Korean team. And this week we had KT go 3-0, Origin went 1-2, LGD went 2-1, and TSM went 0-3, and Origin and KT made it out. What do you guys think of? Let's just start off with KT before we get into other negatives. What did you guys think about KT? Basically, once again winning.
They looked even better.
So the big narrative of week 2 is like Flame is back. Flame is back. He's on the starting roster. People hailing is like, this is the return of some top leg guard. First game against Sunday, get fucking dusted, get fucking wrecked. Like Sunday fucking destroyed him. Like, so and then Sunday went on and destroyed everything. Like, Sunday was so insane in that game. Like
that whole day.
Did he? What did he? So in the game against LGD, didn't he play Renekton into
Played Renekton into Darius.
into Darius, and just fucking destroyed Flame with it? Like,
I don't think he personally destroyed Flame. I think what happened was that once again TBQ got caught in the jungle, and then Flame showed up, and then when you're Darius and you show up to a fight, you can't not like, and it's the opposite side of the map. You can't run away.
Oh yeah.
And then he got killed, and then Anivia showed up, and Anivia got killed. And it was like
Score just dumped
he had a mark. He didn't have really a lead, but I think he was doing pretty well, even against Renekton. And then after that, someday was just like, well, I got a kill, and you died, and I got all this farm, and time to die. And that pretty much was the end of the game, in my opinion. Was that catch in the jungle?
Yeah, it was just horrible. TBQ.
Like KT looks really good in week 2 as well, really good. Like, I mean, I do think that KT had a weird point in the mid game where they looked like they were kind of like, they didn't close it out as efficiently as SKT did. You know what I mean? Like, they had that moment against, but they still close it out. You know what I mean? Like, there's still not really a chance for the team to come back. They just might lose a team fight randomly or something like that, or someone gets caught.
Well, they had that moment against TSM, but that's because TSM had Veigar, and you're just like, well, we need to play like you can only walk into wards or else you die.
Yeah, so
you can't walk into unwarded areas by yourself.
It's a pain versus
like for me, Someday was just playing out of his mind. Like, I don't even have his mind, just playing like such a higher level of League of Legends, like such strong, like sort of game impacting kind of way with playing, and then like Score as well. Like, Nagne's not had a great tournament so far. Like, has not particularly kind of.
It's way better than the second week.
Yeah,
he didn't lose.
He played like he's played. Yeah, and then like Arrow's like looked okay. It's the Arrow, really. But like Pickaboo look good as well. I do think the Gorillas look better than Pickaboo so far in this tournament. But I also can see why you would say that some days look better than Smeb so far. Although I think Smeb is better than Someday.
I mean, he performed bad.
I think Smeb's better than Someday, and you can say that solely because Smeb has gotten shafted and pick and ban a few times, and still come out with a win.
Sure. But yeah, like what I liked about week 2 is week 1 we had this idea like the West is catching up, like it's Western teams beating the Asian teams left, right, and center, like boom, 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 and then in week 2 it's like that doesn't really happen, does it? Like, I don't even know what the stat line is, but I think Fnatic are the only Western team that like looked legitimately like good in week 2. Like, Origin did not look as good in week 2 as they looked in week 1.
Fnatic, Fnatic, because they topped like they actually won 3-0. Yes, 3-0.
They won 3-0 in their group, yeah.
But Origin won 1-2.
Whereas like
and
the only Western teams. The only Western team to win games was Fnatic and Origin, and Origin won a quarter of the games that a Western team won.
HOK beat.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't. I know that doesn't count.
Yeah, non-troll games, and Origin beat TSM in like a 55-minute long game, so it was like quite close. So like
that did get to a scary time, but
yeah. So like I think Origin didn't look nearly as good as they did in week 2. I still think they look okay. I think they looked a lot stronger in week 2. And I think like their pick ban was like figured out by KT and by LGD as well. LGD obviously looked better. They could have like LGD couldn't have looked worse. They looked better. And like KT just like, for me the difference between like KT and LGD was the same as the difference between SKT and EDG. You know what I mean?
Well, my issue with Origin in week 2 was not just the pick and ban because they got blue side both times, but it was that they lost with blue side both times. Like the bigger thing about them in week 1 was that they won 2 games on red side, which is really surprising.
Yeah, I think their team
LGD had fallen, like it was obvious at the end of the week. It's like, oh, they fell apart, so that game was a bit easier, but they beat KT and KT had blue. So
I will say I actually think the Origin are actually stronger on red side because Origin have been quite open about the fact that the way they're doing Champions League right now is they're like trying to counter pick where possible to get themselves favourable lane matchups.
Yeah.
So in the Origin versus LGD game, one of the big reasons they were able to win was SARS got the counter pick against Acorn's Malphite with the Vladimir, which he played it as a horrible matchup with Vladimir. Like, you can't do anything in that matchup. And in this one, like Ejiptites didn't get the counter pick on Flame. And they didn't really get many counter picks off, which I think is why they struggled much more. I think they look much better on the red side than the blue side.
That's true.
Which is a worry for them, because you're the best of 5, you can't play every game on red side. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, but on the other hand, I think most teams won blue side, so I mean they get to choose. But yeah, it's still a
blue
problem
side gets 3 bans, red side gets a ban.
if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Should you get a ban? A ban still has to go around first pick leads and stuff.
Yeah, so what do you guys think of,
What are you saying, that red side doesn't only gets 1 ban because they have like auto ban Mordekaiser and auto ban
Gangplank, Lulu.
Gangplank?
Lulu gets
Gangplank
like
or-
but yeah. And now that people try
Gangplank
to
and Mordekaiser currently... Gangplank currently has 45 bans, and Mordekaiser has 44 out of 49 games played. They both have played 4 games and won all 4.
Yeah.
And there's only been one time Mordekaiser slipped through all of pick and ban.
That was like somewhere in the beginning, I remember.
It was LGD KT, I think, wasn't it?
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it was the first week of LGD versus KT.
Yeah.
So, just
But no, KT, based on their group stage performance, are like the clear kind of number 2 team in this whole tournament, I would say.
I would say that, but as we get into quarters, I think we all agree that KT versus Ku is not 100%. Like, you can't just done deal.
No, I mean, I'm taking Ku in that, so, you know. We'll get to that later.
I think,
that'll be the final.
that'll be the true semifinal on that side of the bracket.
Yeah, that's the true semi-final. It's which team gets to beat Fnatic.
The final round is going to be boring. Like, the finals is going to be boring again, in my opinion.
Probably, yeah.
So.
No, because this time,
Yeah, but
this is the one chance you have for a good finals.
no, because this year the Korean teams cannot compete with SKT, so the finals will be boring because it's just like every other final this year. Summer and spring final were trio, and we'll be trio again if we get a Korean team versus SKT.
Have we not seen KT lose to SKT the entire year?
And Ku as well, so it's
No, they took a game off in the regular season.
we don't talk
a
about
game.
the regular one game, man. Like, SKT.
Hey, I think that we might have a good final this time. I think KT look better now than they did in Korea.
But not much, and SKT also looks better.
Look, well, I think the biggest mismatch with Korean teams is simply Faker versus the mid lane. And then you also have Bengi is much better than any
So
of
what
the
you're saying
Korean
is-
junglers.
So what you're saying is Dane needs to come back. That's the only thing that can stop HKT. If Dane comes back,
Oh, yeah,
completes his 3rd Dark Resurrection.
Except it's
No, Pawn needs to get back into a time machine and pretend that he was actually a true, like, go back to the days when he was a counter to Faker.
It wasn't a counter Faker. It was just Faker was fucking in Elo hell and Paul had the most insane team ever around him. Like, it wasn't
Almost
actually
like
a
there's
counter.
other things outside of 1v1s. So, anything else you guys want to say about
I'll never forget
Origin or
that match.
LGD?
I'll never forget that Samsung White versus SKT match where Faker was on a zillion. I think like flashed to bomb him like in a desperate attempt to kill Paul. He's like, I can't solo kill him. I can't win this game at all. Like flashes forward, tries to solo kill him, gets fucking wrecked. Like, like, oh, Paul's so is better than Faker. Like, no, he's in fucking Faker's in like the most nightmare prison ever. Like, his jungler's shit. Everything's falling around it. Getting off topic here.
Yeah, but well, I definitely think Flame actually was pretty legit, to be honest. During the games he played. I mean, KT game. That game was over the moment TBQ did that fucking he didn't move, and then the rest his team tried to follow him, and then all this died. But I think the other 2 games, Flame was like a really asset for them to win, and definitely like proved to still be good. But yeah, it was too late anyway. I mean, the moment you're 0-3, it's so hard to come back. I mean, even OG, they had a free game against TSM, which they then won, of course, and then they're through. They got into quarters, so LGD had like no hope. But I don't think Flame was to blame.
That TSM Origin game had like 30 minutes of nothing.
Yeah, it was like TSM
It's
should have
not-
tried to do something, but they couldn't ever. And yeah,
My favorite thing about that game was that Dyrus was like 0-0-0 for 45 minutes, and was like, holy crap, he's not dying at all this game, and then he still ends 0-2-1.
I think the worst part is that TSM literally just gave up 2 Barons because they were like, oh, Origin's not doing Baron right now. They're not. Oh shit, they're doing it. Oh, it's gone, boys. Let's recall.
Yeah.
Seriously, TSM. They were so fucking bad on the neutral objectives. They won in all the turret objectives, but they lost 3 free dragons in a row. Okay, the first one they had no right to have, but the other 2, like they lost all those dragons, and then they had, other than to deal with the Barons they already gave away, they had to deal with 5th dragon because they gave up all the early dragons. So it was like just a complete nightmare for the neutral objectives for TSM. It was pretty bad.
I love the meme that we've created. We've trying to push onto everyone of Wild Turtle would have blanked like whatever if it's an objective or a kill, and someone shot a global, Wild Turtle would have hit that.
Yeah. Or
once again, he fucking steals a dragon.
Wild Turtle would have crit that. That would also be good.
Shit, Fartel would have got that lucky crit there, 100%.
100%.
Yep.
No, I mean,
he would have got that 20% crit 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Origin, like, they look more beaten up right now, but I think they're gonna have some problems in the quarters. But yeah, they got the easiest.
My biggest issue with them is they Soaz and Expecting, neither of them really showed up.
No.
And that if you really want Origin to win, and it's been going back since even to the Fnatic days, is that if they were gonna win, one of them had to step up and be the true carry. Well, you could have other people supporting around him. Like Niels is a pretty good secondary carry, and can put out the damage, but I don't think he is enough ever to fully one-man carry the team.
Yeah, that's a problem. Because the problem with AD carry role is hard to do that, and he doesn't seem to really faint, or not that much at least. Yeah, no, they need Smithy to like always have good engages, and then need or Soaz or Peck have to be an extra carry. And a big problem in week 2 was that Soaz got always put on tanks, I think, or mostly on low damage dealers.
He was Malphite and two cannons.
Yeah, but he always got corruption lane, so the cannon was so ineffective most of the time.
And then he was Malphite against the LGD, where they played frickin' Graves and won. That was the real like, ooh.
Sick Graves slings. Sick Graves slings. No offense. No, I think Flame stepped up that game big time. Like he did so much work on the Olaf pick.
Yeah, it's clear they went into a honeymoon state when they brought in a new top laner. Like making the quick roster change for LGD brought in a honeymoon phase, and they were able to grind out for a couple of wins.
Which
clearly what happened.
Which denied the tiebreaker for KT versus Origins, but I know they would have won it anyway. So.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Right.
I'm still upset. LGG completely shit the bed and then came back for like the 2 games and was like, oh hey guys, we're not really that bad. We're already out because we got 0-3 in this group.
Yeah, that's the point actually. Who knows what would have happened if LGD had played how they had in week 2 in week 1? Who knows what would have happened in that group? I mean, I think KT probably would have still done it, but like, let's say LGD didn't lose that game to TSM, they would have found themselves in a tiebreaker situation with Origin, where that again, like,
that's
one big thing it was has been this whole massive,
like the moment
this whole massive world.
Over.
Yeah, like this whole world has been a massive cock tease for fucking like tiebreakers, because there could have been so many good tiebreakers and good like in Group A, if like you had the Pain versus CLG for the potential tiebreaker against Flashwolves to get out of the group, denied, and then in Group D, like you could have had the LGD versus Origin tiebreaker, where even though LGD had a fucking shit week and there were two of those teams that had massive fights, and TBQ having these horrible health issues and stuff like that, still would have had a tiebreaker against Origin. Who knows how that the game would have gone? Like I feel like this whole world has been this massive cock tease of like it could have been so much better than it's actually managed to be, because certain teams just fucking don't show up for no apparent reason. Bizarre.
Yep, it's been a disappointing.
I mean, the biggest difference too is to be able to say that is that the people that stepped up for LGD, but outside of Flame, like Flame may have been able to like at least create a honeymoon period or whatever, because there was obviously talk that LGD was internally completely split, Koreans versus Chinese. But you could just see Godv played way better.
Yeah, he
Imp
actually
played
good.
way better.
Holy
PYL did not look like a fucking dump truck. He was playing way, like the three-man core of that team were playing way better.
shit.
And that's the real truly disappointment is that wow, you could see them play significantly better, yet knowing the whole time it's irrelevant because Origin's still going to get a free win over TSM.
I mean,
And then when TSM almost beat Origin, I was like, I was super excited when Origin almost beat, or TSM almost beat Origin. I was like, holy crap, can they truly be the upset and beat both of them? But no.
Well, I think you can
Nope,
see
TSM.
how it's like
So
it
bad.
declined. Like the first game LGD played, they actually good. They were winning versus Origin, but then they fucking kept throwing like dumb leads away, and randomly dying again in the bot lane, and then they fuck up the team
And then there was
fights.
yeah.
And then they couldn't handle it. Vladimir, I think after that they just started like getting mad because they lost that game, which they should have won if they had just stick together better and finish the game off. I think that's just,
Like, it's not unimaginable.
decline.
Yeah, it's not crazy to imagine a scenario where Origin didn't get out of groups, like,
Oh no, of
you
course.
know, and yeah, this is a team that in the first week, like everyone was hyping up as like they're the best Western team, they're going to beat all these Korean teams, like, and they might not have made it out of groups, you know. It was a hard group they had, but it still came down to like one game, and it still came down to one fucking like combo by Mordekaiser on Imp in that TSM versus LGD game. That's what the whole fucking group came
100%.
down to.
One attack did 90% damage.
Okay.
Brilliant. Well, balanced champion.
Saw the flash from Arrow once, whoever it was. Was it first Imp as well? Was Imp as well? Imp got dunked twice by Mordekaiser. Jesus, poor Imp.
Yeah.
Yeah, LGD was 2 of the 4. They let 2 of the 4 Mordekaisers play. So, smart moves.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Group B and the contentious one that was the last day on Sunday that did have a tiebreaker. And wow, what happened? It's almost like last week we all said C9 should not win any games, and that they should not have won the game against Fnatic. And lo and behold, someone made a post, written a whole article about the downfall of Fnatic, I believe it's called.
About that, so good.
And there were some people that did not follow his opinion and thought that C9 was a legitimately good team and that they would only lose to IG. And lo and behold, C9 got fucking 0-4.
So,
It feels so good.
like, so if anyone missed it, I wrote a long article. It had a bit of a shit title, but it was called. I can't remember what it was called now. One second.
What Fnatic had to do? Wait.
Okay, so why Fnatic are failing in this tournament and how they can learn from KOO versus CLG. Now, the general premise of this article was that CLG were playing extremely similar to the way that Cloud9 were playing. CLG went 2-1, Cloud9 went 3-0. Both of the teams use the same strategy. These are fast pushing turrets through sieging based around Tristana or Jinx. And you just keep shoving turrets, and then you have a strong top laner who if you try and die, if one person gets in, so you have to have like a whole team come in. And KOO managed to pick that apart because they picked a comp with a lot of engage. Therefore, you just run straight into the siege comp, so straight the fuck in, and they're gone, kind of thing. But no team punished Cloud9 the same way. And then I posted this article, and I got a lot of tweets and a lot of like Reddit comments. They're calling me a fucking idiot, basically, and telling me that Cloud9 were the smartest Western team, that they had more strategies than just that one. The only reason they were only using one strategy was because they were winning with that strategy all the time, and Cloud9 would go 3-0 in the group unless IG managed to find form. There was no way they would lose to Fnatic. And there were also multiple people that said that, because I called Fnatic the best Western team we've ever seen in that article. People were calling me an idiot for saying that. They're saying, how could this team be the best Western team when they're in shit at Worlds? They're not going to get out.
Because Origin was better.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were telling me that Origin were significantly superior and that Origin actually should have won that final. I still don't fully grasp that concept. still going back to the concept how in a best of 5, you can say that one team should have won over the other one. When a best of 5 really probably finds a better team at the end of it due to that best of 5. So I posted this long article. I thought it was pretty good. It didn't do as well as I thought it was going to do, mostly because I think it presented a narrative that people don't like, this idea that Western teams are actually pretty one-dimensional, and because actually you kind of saw it in Origin as well, how they didn't really have like a sort of a plethora of strategies in the same way that Korean teams did, and therefore while they managed to win off the fact of these, not so much Origin, but especially in Cloud9 and CLG case, they were winning games off the back of one strategy. The one strategy gets figured out, then they lose all their games. I was told that both of them had more strategies than just the one. They were only using one strategy because that's all they needed to do. Obviously, that's not what happened. So it was quite satisfying for me to watch because it was exactly how I predicted that group going in that, because I said that, any team who loses to Cloud9 in week 2 shouldn't actually be at Worlds kind of thing, because you had one strategy, and that's all Cloud9 had. They had one strategy. In the tiebreaker game, they played another strategy against AHQ, which was even worse, and they got the fucking shit kicked in again. I
don't even understand what that blind pick strategy was. Like, Twitch, what? And then they tried to do Yasuo Malphite. Yeah, Incarnation is your best player, and that's clearly obvious, and he's a great player, and he's a great mid. But all he had to do was build armor. Just had to build armor.
Why would you go for?
And he's also not good on Yasuo either.
And the weird thing is,
I thought he was pretty good, but
yeah, it was okay. And the weird thing is, actually, in that game, I think they could have legit picked Faker and actually gotten out of that, because HQ picked a very risky, squishy comp that can't really punish Faker that much because they have to go into him. But then they tried to prove that they could play a second comp, and they failed again.
They should not have.
No, they should. They should have tried to stick with their comp. They might have luckily gotten out of it and beaten HQ with something like Faker or anything else. And Jinx was also because they could still have tried the hard push, but I think they were too stubborn to try it. After I seriously think when Fabvin said that they only had one strategy, they heard it and were just mad, and they didn't want to try the same thing over again. But yeah,
honestly, they should have just second rotations Tristana and Veigar, and just said, "This is it."
Why not? Our last video also got criticized because the Western fans, they were in such a hype because C9 was trio, Origin was trio, CLG is 2-1, but in the end, these are all best of 1 games that you can't look into them too much. Overall, if you then look what happens this week, you see why the Western fans are they're just too blinding on the wins. But after all, every NA team got crushed and didn't even get out, even with C9 being trio, which is pretty easy to get out because you only need 1 more win. And they had 4
North America went
0-10.
Yeah, North America went a collective of 0-10 in the last week. 0-10 for North America, and excluding the H2K game against the G Bangkok Titans, European teams went 4 and
5.
4 and 3. 4 and 4. 4 and 4.
4 and 4. So European teams had a 50% win rate, and the North American teams had a 0% win rate in the second week. This for me, the second week, it felt just to start off the week, so you've got Coup Tigers, they smash CLG. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm on this weird high, and then you get into the second day.
Not only that, but CLG gets smashed and then doesn't make it out of group. The easiest group.
And it was oh god, CLG have been exposed. We've only got one strategy. This is good. Oh man, I'm loving this pie right now. I'm loving this apple pie. It's so delicious just to devour it in front of Americans. Just to stick my dick in it. It's eat the whole. There's no apple pie left for Americans apparently. And then you get to the group D with Origin. And TSM goes to 0-3. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Origin go 1-2. I mean, I like Origin, so I wasn't enjoying that as much, but it was still nice to see a bit of fucking retribution for that.
It still had to be TSM, so.
Yeah, and then you get to the final day, and I'm like, this can't get any better. This can't get better. And then Cloud9 goes 0-4. I was prepared for the 3-3-3-3 3
Oh,
situation where every team had 3 wins,
That would've been so
and then you had the
fucking
massive
IG.
tiebreakers.
Yeah.
But it didn't get to that point because Cloud9 were too bad to even force a tiebreaker in that situation.
Well, no, it's
like,
IG.
so.
Fuck that off.
Oh yeah, IG were
fucked it
too
up.
bad as well.
You mean
IG were too bad that it was so satisfying to watch. Not because I don't enjoy when Western teams lose. I don't enjoy. I actually like watching Western teams win. I like Fnatic. I like Origin. I like Tip, but they weren't even here.
So.
Yeah, and I dig the task as well. I legitimately cheer for these teams when they win. I get excited when they do well. That kind of thing. I'm not a Western hater. What I like though is when people who give me shit get fucking called out on their shit by actual results. And then it's not like none of these people have messaged me and apologized. Oh, I'm sorry for calling you a fucking idiot. I'm sorry for saying you should get cancer and die. I'm sorry for saying that you should quit writing articles. I'm sorry for saying you should do all these things. You actually write all the time. Then they just disappear. And obviously I can't bother to go look them up because, fuck it. Although I did retweet a lot of shit. So whatever. It was, for me, satisfying to watch the Cloud9 lose 0-4 was one of the most enjoyable things I've watched since TSM getting crushed at MSI. That was so enjoyable.
I actually like C9, but even I have to agree on that. Because it was such a buzz. C9 never deserved to go out of their quarters. They're not good as an actual team. They have one strategy which they just bunch. They're the 7th place and 18th. They have no place at actually at the quarters. Sure, they can make groups and they can win some games, but they have no right. If any other team let them get out, that was their fault. They were fucking bad. IG.
Yeah.
If you look at the scores again, Fnatic went 3-0, and Origin went 1-2, and H2K went 1-2. If you take those 3 teams, and obviously NA all went 0-10. If you remove the games they played against other Western teams, you remove one of Fnatic's wins, you remove one of Origin's wins. And then you remove those 2 losses again from the NA, and then you have the entire West as a grouping that beat non-wildcard, non-Western teams. You have a 2-10. 2-10. That is their record. And then one of those wins was against IG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say this as well. Fnatic looked good in that second week.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Fnatic looked good in that second week.
Both wins are Fnatic. I'm not saying they look bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying the West looks atrocious, and then there's one team that won 2 games.
We were in a situation where it might be that CLG, Cloud9, Fnatic, Origin all get out of groups. So you might get to a point where it's a 50-50 split. In reality, it was 2 Taiwanese teams got out over North American teams getting out of the groups. That for me, there's you can't argue now that North America is even a top 4 region. Now it's below Taiwan, definitively below Taiwan. Not only in terms of the actual players they have, but in terms of the strategy and the way they play the games, and in terms of proven results as well. AHQ kicked Cloud9's fucking head in. Once they realised, if we play against the Siege competition, we should play with some Engage, fucking got wrecked.
Maybe we should ban Azir. I think that was a bit. Maybe we should ban Azir and Veigar. Oh, they lost a lot.
Yeah, you know what? I can't stress enough. No one on this panel enjoys watching Western teams lose as an isolated thing. Everyone has a Western team they enjoy watching.
I'll admit I like TSM.
I hate TSM with a fiery passion because TSM has always been the strongest team. Traditionally, TSM has been the strongest Western team, at least North American team, for 3 years now. And yet they refuse to get even tiny upgrades on their team. They refuse to improve their team. Yet they're still the best North American team, and it just infuriates me that they had chances to upgrade their team. It's not like, oh my god, they're gonna get they're not gonna get Spirit, they're not gonna get Flame, they're not gonna get these huge upgrades and be like, oh my god, I can't wait. But they can get at least a little bit better, and they seemingly almost to a stubborn point, no, we can win with this. Refuse, and then put all the pressure up. Well, they put all these pressures of we're gonna win worlds, we're playing to win worlds, and yet they make no actual change. Like not just effort. It seems like they make an effort. I'm saying they don't make actively changing to get a better team to get to the point where they have a chance of even getting to the knockout stage of worlds. I mean, honestly, if you look at the knockout stage this time, you've got two. Okay, I don't want to demean them, but you've got two Taiwanese teams, and you've got two European teams. You've got 4 teams. You could have played a European team and gotten to the semis being EUNA in a quarterfinal match. Like, you could have guaranteed a Western slot at 4th. And it's just every year, like, Western teams, specifically North American, just like shoot themselves in the foot all the time and just don't cut off the bad parts of their team. Like, at least Origin and Fnatic, I can look at them and go, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Reckles. I think he's a bit too. I still think he doesn't play. I don't think he's the biggest carry on his team. Well, but you look at them and you can't, like, there's only maybe 1 or 2 other people I'd say in Europe that are better than Reckles. Oh, and one of them is on Origin. And if you look at Origin, they're pretty, like, both entire lineups are decent and solid.
Maxed out. Like, you can't legitimately improve that lineup immediately. Yeah. But with TSM, you can legitimately improve that lineup immediately. Like,
you're not looking at it, man, I can pick off. Yeah, like you're not looking at like, oh man, when Altec became a free agent, that easily could have been the improvement. I can't think of outside of a small subset of people from Europe leaving their team going, okay, clear upgrade, grab him. But with North America, you can see it's the same thing you said with Taiwan in the first during Group A. If you combine Flash Wolves and HQ, you could make a coherent, really solid team. If you combine the NA, you could make like 2 teams.
The problem with me for NA is, like, when you look down, like, let's say the top 8 North American teams, I don't actually think there's enough disparity between the top North American teams. And I think that as a region holds them back because the talent is so thinly spread amongst the league, kind of thing, in the sense of, like, all the top 8 North American teams have a couple of, like, good players and then a bunch of shit. So if you kind of, like, if you just kind of move some of the parts around the more top-heavy teams and you create more top-heavy teams, I think you legitimately could get some actual decent rosters out of North America, just North American-only players as well. But it almost doesn't matter because, like, North America's in this weird situation where, like, North American LCS is a fun league to watch in terms of, like, any team could beat any team and it's enjoyable in that aspect, but it's got the same problem that Europe had in season 4, which is that because all these teams are, like, the talent is so thinly spread amongst them and there are so many old shitters kind of stuck there, like, these teams can't actually improve. Like, how can TSM went to Worlds in season 5 with a worse roster than they went to in season 4. That is the only team that I can think of that has ever actually done that.
Yeah, not only did they downgrade their jungler, both their top, well, I wouldn't say Darius actually does. Well, Waterloo even got even worse.
I think Darius has been the same kind of player he's been for the past 2 years. It's just kind of like, okay, we're going to make some terrible decisions during lane phase and feed.
Well. That's where else got worse.
Yeah, Lust Boy got worse. Water fell off a fucking cliff. Like, and then the jungler was worse. Like,
I want to withhold judgment from Lustboy solely because he still has to play. Like, if I was Lustboy, I would have been like, I would have fucking thrown the towel in. I would have thrown the towel in like 6 months ago. Been like, fuck this. I'm playing a different game. I'm not like I will show up to scrims and I'll play, but replace this fucker or else I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I would just give this shit up and be like, oh, I get that paycheck if I just show up to these games and show up to these practices. Got it. What about the other ones? I don't know, dude. I'm gonna go play some basketball. We're not going to play solo queue? Fuck that. What's the point? I have to play with him.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can say that the rumor coming into Worlds was that every single North American team, except for CLG, is planning a complete overhaul of their roster for Season 6. They fucking need to. Like, this is the worst North America's ever looked. I legitimately think this might be the worst time for North America, like, ever. Like, and I'm talking, like, even worse than Season 2, where, history here. So Season 2 Worlds, you hadn't actually seen a lot of international play at this point. due to the fact that like League of Legends is still very new, and a lot of Alex It, Wicked, and Cloud Templar all came out and made statements about North American teams, and they're doing press conferences where they were asked why are North American teams not doing very well. Alex It does this big rant where he talks about how North American teams have a really shit attitude to practice, how they bring their girlfriends to tournaments, how for them it's like a joke and they just want to make a show. They're not actually here to win. They're just like, for them it's just about the money, and that's why they lose all the time. Like, they were talking about how they were practicing for 12 hours a day, and North American teams were barely doing 4 hours a day of practice, kind of thing. Like, of course you're going to lose in that situation. And then Cloud Templar was talking about how the mentality of North American players was really weak, and that's how Dignitas managed to go 0-3 in a group that had a GPL team in it, by the way. That's the first time, that's the only win a GPL team has ever got a Worlds, by the way. It was over Dignitas in Season 2 Worlds, where Saigon Jokers like crushed Dignitas. History lesson for you there. And Wicked said that he thought North American teams were really bad and they just need to focus on like practice and not all this other stupid shit. And it's like, there's a video where it like goes over the 3 quotes, and it's quite like an enjoyable video. The first minute of it, anyways. But like, this is probably the worst North Americans ever looked at World, even considering all of that, because now they can't even argue that like they weren't prepared, or like, because these North American teams, they should be practicing the same as someone else. They've learned that if you don't practice as much, you're going to get fucking your head kicked in. There's loads of money in North America. There's more money in North America than there is in Korea. Like, in terms of what the players get played and stuff like that. They're able to get some of the best coaches and players to come play in their league. They're able to get whatever they want, and they still look fucking shit. It's terrible. If I was a big fan of North American teams, I'd be like, fuck this. Oh, I'm gonna go follow a game they're actually good in. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe Heroes of the Storm. Fuck it.
I'm pretty sure North America is really great at basketball and football and baseball. Hey, North American team has won the whatever the baseball trophy is every year, and the football trophy every year.
Yeah, because I don't even play it. I know how that goes. They're
the world champs at many sports that are only played in America.
That's
or we just bring Cubans in.
Like, hats off to Crumbs. He had that great tweet where he said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make it like baseball, where it's like, we call it the World Championships. We only fight each other in the North American teams. That's what we're going to do from now on. Like, hats off. That was fucking, I fucking cracked up at that. Like, well played on that one there. Like,
that was so good. Alright, I guess we should move on. Yeah.
Well, maybe we can move past Cloud 9. So, I mean, IG looked pretty terrible. Right? I mean, we can all agree IG still looked like fucking bizarro, where I don't know what was happening. And then the last game, it was like, oh, we got to win one game. And then they crushed C9 with the super lockdown.
Thank God they did. I was going to be so mad if they lost. Just
like,
no, they played 12.
Super lockdown, just 100. It's like, oh, we just need to kill 2 of their players. And really, we just need to kill one of them, and then you can't really carry a team 4v5 with 1 DPS. No. And can I say, I want to say this about people saying that they were prioritizing balls with champions. No, they were just like, we don't really give a shit about your lane. Like, you are literally a dead body. We're going to give you Darius or Gangplank, a champion that hopefully in 30 to 40 minutes you'll have some sort of relevancy to a team fight. And we don't give a shit about you. We're going to abandon you in lane. We're going to throw you up there. If you die, whatever. Just try and get a couple damage items and be relevant at some point in the game, and that's all we care about. And that's what they did. That's why they're prioritizing Darius picks, is because they would just give him Darius and then just been like, well, counterpick that. Go ahead. We don't really give a fuck because we don't care about him at all. We're going to throw him up there and wait for him to do something. And then he gets the pentakill, and everyone's like, oh, look at this balls with Diamond 2 pentakill. Fuck you guys, he's so great. Ah.
Even though Incarnation did all the work in that team fight, but okay, let's ignore that again.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did get
It's the same thing with TSM. Like, oh my god, they're doing so great. And then you look at the damage charts, and literally Bjergsen is the only one that is doing anything. Like, they showed that graph. They showed that graph of damage, like the damage TSM does on all roles versus what the average is, and you just see this tiny little huge point going up of, oh, that's Bjergsen.
I'm pretty sure
everything.
I'm pretty sure Waltel must have had one of them must have had one of the lowest like percent damage done for his team of like of any American AD carry. Like I can't think.
Yeah.
Like maybe the GPL AD carry had the worst damage down or something like that. Other than that, I can't think of a fucking
Kid.
like. Yeah. Like I mean, you know what? And here's the thing about IG as well. So like. Coming into this, I refuse to get on this IG bandwagon about they're actually a good team. I refuse because you know what? I've been watching Worlds for a long time. I've watched the I know ZZ Ty's not a good player.
Oh yeah.
I know Kid's not a good player. And I know that Kitty's is definitely not a good player. So anyone who's people telling me IG's a top 4 team in this tournament, like they're gonna crush everything. I thought they were gonna be better than they were, but like because I didn't think it would be that fucking bad. But they were fucking shit. Like let's be honest here.
Super. Yeah. That's it. I legit think LGD
like for me, it's a joke that IG made it to Worlds over QG, considering the fact that QG not only had a much better regular season, they actually had a much better playoffs as well. It's just in that the Chinese regional, due to the way that they just missed out. And like QG, I actually think would have put up a better fight. Like QG had games that looked terrible as well, but QG have really good games and they have really good team fighting. IG don't even have good team fighting really, so you know. Plus TNT was TCT is a really good AD carry, and I wanted to watch him on the world stage.
Oh, TNT is the AD carry.
Yeah.
TCT is support.
Okay, so
TCT is more.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So TNT is a legitimately like amazing AD carry, like an AD carry that China can be proud of. I didn't get to watch him play. That makes me sad. Like, it makes me sad that Kid was the only Chinese AD carry there, and he's fucking shit. Like, but what made it better is about IG in their final game. They sub in Time, who I think he's missing a trick by not naming himself THYME because there's more puns there. But at least he looks better, even though across all the regular season, apparently Kid looks better than Time in the final game. They sub in.
The game's Time played, he did not look great.
But he looked better than Kid did because he actually managed to do a bit of damage and not get like. And there was a game against Fnatic IG where Kid flashed into a slicing maelstrom. Like, what the fuck? Why would you ever do that? Like, flash into get stunned.
Time played great simply because he was able to ult Kitties from death. Like, Kitties had 2 deaths only in the game because he was able to ult him as Callista to make sure he can't die.
Kitties was like constantly trying to 1v1 Incarnation, which was funny as hell.
Yeah.
And then Kitties gets the 3 kills at the end to end the game, and it's like, oh my god! It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. All 3 of those kills were not of his.
No.
So here's the question for you: if we're to rank regions right now, Korea number 1 clearly, who's actually better out of China and Europe? Who's actually number 2 right now?
You can't overall like if you look at all the teams at home, China is still like way better. Like you can, it's just dumb. Like
I still want to say China.
LGD, yeah.
But I mean,
I'm sticking with China, but it's just like underperformance from teams.
For me, if Fnatic can beat EDG in that quarterfinals, I'll go and I'll say Europe's the second best region right now.
Sure, whatever. Even though it's only 2 teams, to be honest, while China has like 6 good teams, or sort of.
Yeah, but for me, if Fnatic can beat EDG, I would say that based on the fact that Fnatic at that point, you can't really rank any Chinese team above them, I would have to say that Europe, like, although it's not as heavy, it's actually... Now, I'll get into this later on. I will say that probably this is the chance for Europe to prove that a number 2 region, like, number 2 just behind Korea, like, whoa, that'd be amazing. Like, that'd be the first time since season 2 that's happened. Yeah, that's true.
They're number 2 now 5.18, you know. The moment.
Now I don't think like, I mean, I get that China regionals was fucked up by that 5.18 fight, but now I don't think you can say that you can keep blaming the Juggernaut for like upsets because now every team should have had enough games to be comfortable at least. So
that's the thing though. Imagine if there was at least some sort of competitive play before even Worlds began, where the teams could play on stage against each other as fun matches before. And you could see that, so you could see the kind of games settle. At week one was like they threw the chips, and week 2 it was settled, and they said, "Oh, we got it now."
Yeah, there was a lot more like clear sort of strength and stuff like that. I just think North America would have probably done worse as well if they'd been more comfortable in the patch.
China got a bit unlucky too.
Well, considering week two, of course America would have done worse because they had two strategies for 3 teams. They had fast push and they had protect player X.
Yeah.
Player X could be an AD carry or he could be a mid laner, but those are the 2 strategies they had. That's it. You can't do that as a fucking entire region.
The main problem was that is what NA did during the playoffs. They literally only had a few strats which they tried to beat each other with. And I mean, TSM didn't put the effort into
they only have 2 strategies.
I sat there and I was in the stadium watching TIP. I was in the stadium watching TIP versus TL, and that was the most painful experience I've ever had to endure. It was just like, can they be done yet? Like, can they just both shake hands and be like, you go ahead. We'll take the loss. You guys go. We just need to get the fuck out of here before I fall asleep from boredom.
Horrible region.
But anything else to say about Group B?
No.
Besides hilarious? I believe we all called it C9 dumpster.
Yeah, I still stand by the fact that, like, if you were to do a time machine and you were to put me back, like, even with the no information I'd had, I would still say that IG would probably get that group in second place. It's like a disappointment they did because they played below. I think they played like a level below even some of their regular season games. You know what I mean? For IG,
CLG got lucky that both LGD and IG failed to make it out of group, so that they can kind of like hide behind them and hide their shame. Because there should be like if I was truly like an NA fan that showed up, I would be booing them because that is such a huge disappointment. Same way I would boo IG. Huge fucking disappointment. At least LGD was like, hey guys, we still won 2 games. We couldn't beat KT. Whoa, but we still were able to destroy the other 2.
Yeah, so I think if I was a more cynical person, I would say that the reason that there were all these sort of drastic patches before Worlds is to give Western teams a better advantage in the tournament and to create more likely upsets, but I'm not that cynical.
I don't think it was for Western. I think your second part of the statement is true. It makes it more, in general, it makes it cooler. We got all these cool upsets. And it's like, why? All you're doing is you're potentially making quarterfinals more boring.
Well, it kind of did.
I do maintain that the format is more, at least the group stage format is actually more well tailored to Western teams purely because it's best of 1 and Western teams have significantly more experience playing best of 1s than Asian teams do.
It's the fact that
I think we've ranted on this a lot.
Yeah, all 3 teams get separated and stuff. Like, you have way more chance for, if there were bigger groups, it's possible all the Western teams are at the bottom because there are multiple Eastern teams that block that qualify, and all the rest is left behind.
I think we can all agree that in a time where this is the 3rd year they've used the exact same format except for the quarterfinal auto seed for the second seed or for season 3.
Season 3 was 2 big groups, man. They've only used
because they had the 4 quarterfinals.
Well, it was 2 groups of 4, and then 2 groups of 4.
Yeah. 2 groups. No. Season 2 was 2 groups of 4. Season 3 was 2 groups of 6, only because they couldn't do 4 groups of 3.
Because of the auto.
That would be kind of weird. Okay. Yeah. Because the automatic. But I mean, we have had the same system in place. You can go 4 years. They have the same system. When you look at every other, like you look at any other esport, and you look at the plethora of methods they have to play. They like CS:GO has like 5 different ways they've played tournaments, 6 different ways just in the past couple months. They have ridiculous. You have to be able to shake it up at some point. I mean, even the international, which is like what?
This format is just bad.
The international has had so many different formats, and they're all spectacular. Why? Because it's not. Oh, I'm so glad I got to see C9 play 7 games, and CLG play 6, and Pain play 6, and HGK play... Like, you play 6 games.
I will say that the format Teams International had, like, last year, where, like, only, like, 8 teams actually got to play on stage. It was like a really extended qualifier that went even into the tournament, where a lot of teams played, like, online. That was bizarre, but... Yeah, that's an outlier. I
Well,
think.
this past year they were playing in the hotel. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't a stage or anything, but I thought the excitement I had of watching the games was more than this because there were so many games. And
That's true.
the better thing was they ran them simultaneously, so I could, and they're automatically on VODs. I could go back and like, ooh, how did that one end? I could go back after the day's over or after the tournament and check that out and be like, ooh, and see different things.
Yeah, that is
Riot is very
disappointing.
set on having like one stage where everybody can watch each game individually. They don't like doing multiple games anymore at the same time. They haven't done this.
I mean, even musical festivals don't do that. Music festivals where you think you'd want one stage, I've seen them with like 8 stages, and they're all just playing at the same time and just choose whichever band you want to go to, bud.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how the world works. You can't see everything.
But at least you can just go watch the VODs here, which music is not exactly the same thing. That kind of sucks, to be honest.
It sucks, but
Okay.
you can get way more bands.
I know.
Like you can get way more. You can get
like
bands, more games.
It's
I think it's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so we want to go to quarterfinals then.
Yeah,
We're gonna go in order of how they're played, which is stupid.
I put the order in
Flash Holes versus Origin is Thursday.
for some reason.
Do I just give what you think is going to be the end, and then why?
3-1 to Origin.
I'll give it more like 3-2 because I think that's most only like the bot lane is slightly is in favor of Origin, and I think the rest can be they can win some games if with Civ and wait Civ no wait this is wrong team wrong team. Oh yeah, they have Stake. Yeah. No, I think maybe
This is a whole.
is good enough, but they won't win it. I don't think Flash will have enough strategy, but I think they can maybe get a second game off. It's more like to get 3-1 or. No, I don't think 3-0. It's not gonna be 3-0. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I would say 3-2 Flash Hole or 3-2 Origin. I think Flash Holes have a chance to win. I think this is probably one of the closest. Because, well, if you look at Origin this past week, Xpeke and Soez neither showed up. And if neither show up, I think Flash Wolves can beat them. It'll be tough, but I still think they can beat them.
But
I would actually go on a limb and say
one of them
that.
shows up.
their bot lane.
Yeah, I would go on a limb and say that like this is actually like the quarterfinals is actually like a fairly good kind of spread across the board, except for the SKT versus AHQ, which will be like one-sided as
that
fuck.
one was always any team.
But I actually think at most you can argue there's a 70-30 odd for one team in quarterfinals, excluding SKT versus AHQ. I would argue that. So I actually think this quarterfinals actually should be pretty entertaining from a kind of like just from watching League of Legends perspective, because I just think some of these teams are pretty evenly matched overall.
Sure. Yeah, but I just see Origin having
there is things
more advantages in both in the lanes and just in strategies. Splash Wolves have
I agree, but I mean,
been very linear.
my issue is that even with all the strategies, Flash Wolves, when they played well, they knew what they were doing. Like, they knew what their comp was, how to play, and they felt like it seemed like they were comfortable doing it. And you then, if they were able to get that, you could see. I could still see them so long as Xpeke and Soez do not show up. I could see them winning, but I think it's probably going to be closer to a 3-1, 3-2.
Yeah,
But I think this is a pretty close.
Yeah, like for me, the way that Flash Wolves are able to beat Ku, I don't think they have the same win conditions, because I think that while Kuro's a more consistent mid laner than Xpeke, I think that Xpeke has a higher kind of upside to him. So the series, for me, the big dialogue of the series, I just think that is if Carter can get Maple going and get himself going, then Flash Wolves will win. But if Origin can kind of sort of play it out and then get to the point where like Soaz, where their three lanes are in a good position, I think that they can kind of overcome. I think the only roles that Flash Wolves are stronger than Origin is possibly mid lane and jungle. But I don't think the difference between Carter and Amazing is high enough for Flash Wolves to actually be able to grind it out.
No,
I think if Flash Wolves win, they'll have. I think if Flash Wolves win, they'll have to take it to 5 games. I think Origin can win in 4 games.
oh yeah. But Corsa is a little bit better in like maybe his jungle padding and overall carry potential, but Amazing is a very good team player, and it's too much of a differential also in the bot lane. I think Mitty just helps more for Amazing and can have a bigger impact overall in the jungle. I think they're just safer. Plus,
So,
can't leave it on.
I believe the next quarterfinal is pretty much set. I'm pretty sure this one was decided by the joke that the GIF I saw that had "Hello Darkness, my old friend," and it showed Mara standing next to Westdoor. I think this is going to be a quick easy 3-0.
Yeah. I would be surprised. Like, it wouldn't surprise me that SKT don't actually play Faker at all, and they just play easyhoon in all 3 games. Which is the ultimate PM. Like,
one point out, they already put in easyhoon as the starting mid for that series, so easyhoon will guarantee play game 1. Should happen.
The biggest thing I have to say is that even without Faker, like, easyhoon is still a pretty big bully. And the last time we saw him in a best of 5, he completely body bagged his Kuro.
And you have to also it's
he just
Westdoor.
walked up and disrespected.
we don't talk about that much anymore. We don't talk about when Kuro got his fucking head kicked in. I don't like talking about that series.
If that happened to him, Westdoor was getting he was so far behind in CS and lane for so many of these games, and it was just I don't see that changing.
No, it won't. And the difference is the way HQ wins is that if they can hang on long enough without getting too far behind, then Westdoor can become relevant. But that will never happen versus SKT. By the time Westdoor is even relevant, the game is over. The game is literally already over.
It doesn't matter. Who is HQ playing against because easyhoon's playing? They're playing against SKTS and Mengi. And what do we remember about SKTS is if it went late game, they would just destroy you slowly and painfully.
Of course, but
and boring.
Please.
SKT is upgrade. It's a way better team than S was, and with Bengi now putting focus on Marn, they're not gonna be. easyhoon will completely do this shove in Westdoor, he gets shoved in every game, and then Bengi will just help Marn, and the game will just be over in a second. The snowball will be unreal because Westdoor is such a useless, and then Sif will get punished too hard because he doesn't have any support from his mid.
Yeah, a mountain is really a big hole for AHQ as well. That is not good.
No.
Not good at all. I really don't understand why AHQ recruited him. He was the old Flash Wolves jungler, and then AHQ bought him off Flash Wolves, and then they got Carson. I was like, well, I know who won that trade, don't I? But that mountain guy is not good.
He's not, no.
What's his name?
He should rename himself to fucking Molehill.
No, the better renaming was someone brought up how easyhoon changed his easy from EAZY to EAS because he wanted people to forget that he was played Ziggs.
Yeah.
I hope he busts out the Ziggs one more time. I hope he does it.
So fucking good. So the next game is Fnatic EDG, where I think we're going to have some disagreements.
I don't know.
I think EDG takes it 3-2.
I have issues rating EDG because I don't know how much they actually tried or how much they were still adapting to the patch or whatever. If they keep, let me think.
So I think that Fnatic always gank top lane. It's 3 minutes. Reignover shows up top and he gets a kill. Now. If EDG are prepared for that, it'll be a 3-0. Who needs the kind of player? If it goes to 1v1 lane, I think he'll wreck Amazing J. If it goes to a 2v1, he'll destroy Amazing J. I actually don't think that EDG have enough in their arsenal to beat that. EDG's win conditions is Deft goes mental. That's their win conditions to me, is Deft goes mental and hard carries. But I don't think Deft is good enough at the moment to hard carry against this Fnatic lineup. Forbidden to me is a better mid lane than Pawn right now, which is difficult to say. But I think Forbidden is a better mid lane than Pawn. And especially better in the laning phase as well. Like Pawn's laning's looked off. I don't know what happened to him in China. I feel like he's like laning's like Dade level at the moment. And like and then Mako is like, I don't think Mako is a good player at all either. Like I think he's like okay, but he gets caught out so much and he suicides. So like EDG can't depend on their team fighting as well because Fnatic have legit as fuck team fighting right now. If both teams play how they did in week 2, this is a clear like 3-0 for me for Fnatic. No, I don't think it'll go to 3-0. I think it'll go 3-1 for Fnatic, but I'm taking Fnatic all the way in this series. Like I don't like for me, Fnatic just have more talent on their roster, which is weird to say because coming into this was the idea these LPL teams have all this insane talent. But I think Clearlove's better than Rainover, and Deft is better than Reckless. But for me, the difference between Huni and Amazing J is so large that I can't see how EDG are planning on winning this series. Like, Aaron has got to pull out some fucking bonkers shit. Like, he's got to fucking reach a Zen state, like, where he fucking coaches the fuck out of Daylor. Like, I think Daylor's a pretty good coach as well. I don't think he's Aaron level, but I think he's a pretty good coach overall. And for me, like, Amazing J's just too... And you know what? Koro won't play in that quarterfinal. He won't. Categorically won't play in that quarterfinal. Like, I don't think they're planning on bringing out Koro ever again. Like, that's EDG's win conditions if they bring out Koro, who last time they played with Koro, they didn't even look that good with Koro either. So, like, can't be done, I don't think.
They can, like... Wait, I think if they actually... Because Clear has actually playing pretty well this tournament, but if they can get Huni down, like they keep Huni down, if he just ganks for Amazing, like if he just his whole play goes top heavy focus like Rainover, I think they can legitimately win. Because I think Deft is still good enough, and Mako just has to like step up a bit because he is a much better support than he's been showing right now. Pawn shouldn't lose if he like. I mean, he's weaker than Fabin, but like even when Fab isn't like always, he can't always get a massive lead that will help him. Like they need Huni to get big, and if they can keep Huni down, I think the team together with mostly Deft as damage dealer can win. But it's gotta be fucking. For me, like it seems hard.
For me, the big player that can have a massive breakout performance in this is for Bivin, because this can be the moment where he actually properly triumphs over like a legitimate legend of Korean mid lane kind of thing. Like if he manages to like sort of carry these games against EDG, like I don't see how you can argue there's ever been a better Western mid laner kind of thing. Because this is the moment where Bivin has the opportunity to put on a carry performance by a Western mid laner against a Korean team, an Asian team that we've never seen happen before. Like for Bivin right now, he could just go mental. Like he went mental in some of those games in week 2 as well. That LeBlanc game.
I legit think Fabin is like the best Western mid laner right now. I have been saying that for months, but I think you have to kind of not shit on stuff like that like Zighex, Becky and Froggen used to do in season 2. But they also shit on Eastern teams, like. But I mean, yeah, it's been a while. That's really like Fabin will be the first in like a long time that has been legitimately shitting on the Asian teams. But like, don't forget what people did in season 2. It was
like
I think this is going to be the time for an ass to be presented in the jungle and for it to finally be taken by the boobs of 8up.
No. You said this about IG versus Fnatic. Junglers don't get in that ass. It doesn't happen.
But like I said, clear off actually.
I think
Kakao just say if Kid was there.
The last time a jungler got in that ass.
Nope.
The last time a jungler got in that ass was Amazing versus Dandy last World. This is not Amazing versus Dandy. Like this
I think it will be only for the hilariousness that Clearlove is known for being this passive style jungler who just helps out his team, and I think he's just gonna like turn the dial and just get into that ass. I don't really see that happening. I really don't see that happening. I just think that would be the funniest fucking thing for it to finally happen and be like, wait, it's Clearlove doing that?
EDG
I think this is going to go 3-2 though. I still think EDG have a chance. So I think it's going to be super tight 3-2.
Yeah, I'm saying 3-2
super
Fnatic,
tight.
But EG can win if they can get amazing.
Squeak.
If they can win top lane, then EG can win the series. Like
Yeah.
Easily. Because I think Clear is way better than Rainover, but like his teammates are not helping him enough. I mean, he can't. His teammates are failing too much on their own. That's too hard for him to help a lot. But if they win top lane, EG can win. But I'll call 3-2 for Fnatic. Because like we say, overall over the board, somehow they're right now have actually more talent. So even though it sounds a bit weird, but that's mostly because of amazing Jay. To be honest, that's mostly because of him being so.
Like, I just think in that second week, EDG looked bad and Fnatic looked good, and I think that Fnatic probably might be the best team outside of its Korean top 3 in this tournament, and therefore.
I'm going to say one thing: they should not play Cat and AD carry. No offense, but I don't think that's actually going to help them win at all.
Okay. So that Ken and AD carry pick, like, it was funny to watch, but I don't actually think it was a factor in any of their games. Like, if you want an AD carry that can engage, just pick Ashe. Like, just pick Ashe. Like, Ashe is a better pick. Like, Reckless needs to sort out his champion pool. He's played Sivir and he's played Kennen. Like, sort that champion pool out, mate. Like, he had good games on Kalista. He had good games. Like, play Ashe, and you can play Jinx. Like, Tristana.
If you're picking Kennen, why don't you just pick Ashe and have a better AD carry? Like an actual AD carry?
I don't get it.
They can engage safely. Like there were so many times you went in with the slicing maelstrom, like stunned him. They had to flash out immediately. Like,
it's horrible.
Like, because he doesn't have Zhonya's because an AD carry.
Reckless. I mean, Fnatic can like if they can't dumpster top lane, and if then Reckless could legit lose them these games because he has not been playing that well. I actually think he played fucking solid in the playoffs, but this Worlds his damage output has been pretty low. But he's playing like 2 of the most AoE. I don't think Ken is 8 carry, but like whatever. Like he's playing 8 AoE to carry, so it still looks good. But his actual, if you see what he does in teamfights, it's not very impressive. And if he wants to play supportive, like just play fucking Ashe or something. Like don't try and like they need top play. They need their soul lanes to carry. Clevin is a sickly good mid laner, like the best Western mid laner I've seen in like fucking a long while, and they can legit carry. But like Reckless might fuck them up because Def, if he gets the opportunity, he will do way more in team fights, and they can't let that happen because Def will win those games for EDG at that point.
I think people seem to underrate the power of Ashe's global vision.
Yeah,
that seemingly no one feels like playing with properly. It's just like.
Oh no.
And I still think
watching Prey play Ashe is still one of like my favorite things right now. Like just the way he uses that hook shot and like just the way he angles it so he gets the vision through that the entire like fucking map. Like so there's every single thing going on. Like Ashe is so powerful right now. Why only Ku Tigers playing Ashe? I don't get it. Like I mean I know that KT and SKT play Ashe. I've seen them play it before. They're probably just not playing it right now. I understand that.
Well,
but
SKT didn't need to play shit.
Yeah.
So who knows what they play?
But I think that like Ashe is such a strong pick right now that you know what, if Fnatic can utilize Ashe, I can't see a way this series doesn't go towards Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic is the favorite somehow. I don't know why, but they are.
This is also like the last time a Chinese team played a European team in a best of 5 was season 3 with Starhorn Royal Club versus Fnatic, where Starhorn Royal Club won 3-1. Although it was quite a close series, and I mean, you can look in hindsight and say if Fnatic had better mid lane, had better drafts around the mid lane in terms of like taking away the Orianna pick instead of the Fizz pick from White, then they might have taken that series. But I don't think this Fnatic will make the same mistakes the old Fnatic lineup made. I still think Raynor is actually still an underrated jungler. I actually think he's better than people give him credit for. 100%. I think he is a bit aggressive, but I think he knows how to win a game, and he knows how to gank a lane, and that's all that I ask for a jungler, really. And no jungler ever gets to know jungler's ass anymore. It's season 5. Junglers are useless now. No one jungler ever gets to anyone's ass anymore.
I still think it'd be hilarious if Clearlive did. Because it'd be so out of fucking left field. Let's go to the last quarterfinal of Ku Tigers versus KT Rolster.
Rematch of spring summer semifinals, where KT won 3-2 in the blind pick game. Which we actually all thought they were going to lose, but they dumpstered in the blind pick, so it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I remember our original predictions were, it's either going to be 3-1 to KT or 3-2 to Koo. So if it goes to blind pick, Koo can't lose in blind pick because they're too good in blind pick. Turns out we don't actually know anything about Korea there. Sorry, guys. KT dumpstered them in that blind pick.
That was our one shame moment. But I mean, like, KT has been. I mean, overall, which I don't think Prey has been playing like great. So if they could just keep Ash away from Prey, I think that really nullifies a lot of his effectiveness for the team. And I think Arrow does way more like damage than he does, and he has also a better pool somehow. And Peekaboo is close. Peekaboo actually the bot lane together is better for KT right now, in my opinion. Even though I legit think Gorilla is a better support, but Peekaboo has actually played really fucking well.
Do you not think that the supports are just gonna like abandon and become a second jungler?
Probably, but like at that point, I still think Arrow will do more. That's a major thing.
The 2-on-2 I want to see is Peekaboo and Someday versus Smev and Gorilla. Like, just let the AD carries farm. We don't give a shit. Pick Ash, pick Kog'Maw, whatever. I want to see a fucking bloodbath top lane. Fucking ganks every fucking second.
Like, if you're a fan of top lane, this is the series to watch. Like, this is the two best top laners in the world going fucking ham against each other. Both of them know as well. I'm going to carry this match. I'm going to carry this match too. You're going to see some left field picks out of nowhere. Like, you thought there's going to be like Kennen top lane, Malphite top lane, Darius, Renekton, fucking Riven's going to be brought out in this series, Fiora. Like, fucking, this is going to be the most fucking, like, this is bang on. Like, this is the two best top laners in the world. Who aren't called Duke, going fucking at it kind of thing. Like, this is gonna be fucking carnage. Like, it's gonna be like this for me. I'm so excited about this because this will be, it'll go to 5 games. Not only this will be like the last time we saw a Korean best of 5 at Worlds was Samsung Black Sword versus actually saw Samsung Blue versus Samsung White. That wasn't really a best of 5 because Samsung Blue were like terrible in the semis, but the last time we saw it was Samsung Black Sword versus SKT, and everyone was like, "Oh, SKT are going to win it at 3-0. It's not going to be close." And Samsung Black Sword put up a fucking fight out of fucking nowhere. Like, they were just throwing haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, just trying to fucking floor SKT. Like, and then SKT in that final game had that big massive game where Faker just fucking bodied everything on Orianna and that big 4-man Orianna roll, like flash 4 and everything. Like, whoa, where'd that come out? This is going to go off. Like, this is going to be like Nagne versus Kuro, not at all a focal point, but if if Kuro gets victory, he can go off against Nagne. But then there's this weird Azir prioritization as well, where Koo can't play Azir against KT, so they have to permanently keep banning Azir.
I don't think Victor is gonna get picked. I think he'll be banned. Both players love Victor.
Nagne's he can play it, for sure. I think the mid-prioritization should be the same as in semi-finals. Try to get Victor, because we all know fucking Kuro can play Azir anyway. And if Nagne gets Azir for free, then it's GG.
Yeah, but for me, the Nagne on the KT operates as like a 4th ban for KT in the sense of when KT look good, it's because Kuro does a takeaway from the other mid lane, and Nagne does a takeaway from the other mid lane. He does have quite a wide champion pool. He's just not good at any of it. His champion pool is not very deep. It's just wide, so he can play everything. He's just not very good at anything.
It's just it's a lake. He has an ocean lake. Yeah. He has a champion lake. Not very deep, but it's wide. It's pretty long.
Yeah, he's like a river. So if KT can play around, if KT can use Nagne as the 4th ban that they should do, and stop Kuro getting Victor and therefore carrying, then I think KT can win. But I do think I will take Koo in this game. I will go to 5 games. Either way, the series is going to 5 games. 100% going to 5 games. There's no blind pick as well. There's no blind pick in Korean best of 5s. That's a whole fucking X factor we have to take out of there, because apparently Riot doesn't think blind pick's the best thing ever, which it is. Blind pick, best thing ever. So this is the only time Korean teams ever get to play without a best of 5, without a blind pick match in there. So yeah, the series is going to go off. This is
But
Like, I just want to see Sunday and Smeb just fucking go ham at each other because they're both so good right now, so good.
it will be a long and good series, but I still kind of like KT just has like more advantages like all across the board. Like even if Smeb can like play, I think Sunday plays better in lane and can get more out of it if further into the game. But it's more like how Score and Pickaboo they have like way more effect. Like Hojin Hojin doesn't do much, and Score is legitimately getting better and better. And he was already better than
Hojin's better mechanically than Score, but he's a lot stupider than Score as well. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Hojin has some sick mechanical plays. That flash knock-up he did on fucking on Pobelter, and that snipe that he did. Like, his Lee Sin as well. It's like, fuck it, he's a good Lee Sin player, but he's not very smart. Really, let's be honest. That's why the Coup have a jungle sub that they don't use anymore. Wisdom. Oh well, I like your Wisdom. Maybe we'll get to see you soon.
They brought him.
But this is like. Yeah, they have brought him. Who knows? They don't think he'll play. So this is not a good meta for him anyway. But no, this is. I think this is like I'll take Coup 3-2, but I'm so nervous. The series is a big Coup fan. Like I'm so nervous because whichever team wins this, it's got like should get to the finals. So this is Coup's big chance to get to the finals again and redeem themselves. That fucking shit LCK spring final where they got fucking wrecked. This is their big chance to redeem it. And there's going to be some bonkers shit come out as well. No. It's not just going to be the meta, you know it. There'll be some fucking crazy ass counter picks in there. Viger support is coming out in this set quarters. It's coming.
Tom Kang will play more support than Viger. But I still think KT is going to take it 3-2. Clear. Like they're just better.
I think
the carry does more.
I think KT's going to take it 3-2.
And top lane is not the difference.
See. You don't have to worry about the jungler because what's going to happen is it's 2-2. Coup Tigers come back. They got their little cat ears back on. Except this time, who is that sitting in between Smeb and Kuro? Is it Hojin? No. Is it Wisdom? No. Nofe comes off the bench as the coach and plays as well as he never did in his actual play, and they lose 3-2.
He breaks out his old Olaf jungle like. Well, that Lee Sin where he never managed to hit a Q. Yeah, I know that was in the days of no phase jungle. Like this is a good. So like it's almost like the career. Like when you look at it as well, like historically, like KT like the second oldest career. I think maybe the third or second. No, the second oldest Korean team. CGen is the third oldest Korean team. Coup are the newest Korean teams. It's like the new school versus the old school as well, kind of thing. But then, like both teams have a lot of experience on their rosters as well. Like there's a lot of coaches on KT have like got a massive background as like StarCraft Brew War players and that kind of thing. All the coaches on Coup are like Song and Nofe are more known like who are former League of Legends players. Like this is where they're gonna go fucking off, like going in. And you know what? Like, I will agree that any of the difference between Pickaboo and Gorilla is immediately invalidated by the difference between Score and Hojin. Okay. So I do think that KT man for man have a better roster than Coup, but I think the Coup have a better mid game. Like if KT don't get a serious lead in the early game, I think that Coup's mid game will be allowed to take the advantage and drive it home. I think Coup are better at team fighting as well.
I think this has a chance. This quarterfinals has a chance to be the best of 5 of the entire world.
It probably will be.
Yeah, probably will be. Unless it's EDG versus Fnatic could be really good as well. But for like the higher level of gameplay that you want, like if you want like a really high level series with like the mind games and like two really similar teams as well. Because that's when you get the best series, is when two similar. Well, sometimes you get a really good series where two teams are completely different, go off against each other, like SKT versus KT Bullets, OGN Summer 2013. That was good because the two teams were very diametrically opposed. But in this case, these are two teams who are actually quite similar about the way they play the game. They just have strength in slightly different areas. So KT is stronger in the early game, Coup are stronger in the mid game. That's really the big difference between the two teams.
They're way smarter.
Wait, who are way smarter?
Ku is smarter in the mid game than KT is.
Yeah.
So. Well, I mean, the point is
KT is
the
a bit
fact
more
that
reserved.
KT is so reserved and so slow playing means it's going to be actually a long series, not only just 5 games, but like long games. You're going to expect, or KT like maybe KT gets like one fast win, but in general it's going to be very long games where comebacks can definitely happen. You can see that happening. If KT can get a massive lead, you can definitely see Ku with some smart play get back into the game and beat them with better team fighting or whatever. Should be a good series, but yeah, I'm calling KT though.
Well,
Believe in them.
anything else left for this episode? Now that we've talked about all the quarters, we can save IEM for the semis because we'll have very little to talk about outside of the quarters and semis.
Yeah, that's true.
So we've been on for almost 2.5 hours now. So
I just want to.
I think we're
I want to shout out the fact that we will have a cup, like a Casper Cup, after Worlds. So there is still Korean League of Legends that are going to be played. You're going to play with all the challenger teams, all the normal OGN teams are going to play, and there's a whole quality of qualifications, and like the top like KT and SKT will automatically be seated in the top brackets, while the rest have to play qualifiers, etc. etc. I'll put a link in the description below.
Are Ku allowed to play in Casper Cup?
Yeah, they should. I
hope so.
The OGN teams, the top 8 are automatically qualified, so they should join.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, that's good.
They should.
Because I just know they're not a Casper member, so.
Oh no, I don't think that's a problem. It was the OGN teams. So
okay.
It's fine.
Oh no, I think I imagine the team tournament is just provided for by Casper in order to promote Korean esports, like what they were doing in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, but
there's actually something I want. There's actually something I was actually what I was like, excited about when they started in the Casper Cup for StarCraft 2 was I was hoping that we were going to do a similar thing in League of Legends, but they were going to invite top LPL teams or LACE teams, if you prefer, in this situation to come. Obviously, that's not going to happen because of Riot, OP Riot, and all that. But this Casper Cup, when it comes, should be enjoyable for any fans of Korean League of Legends because it should be like a bit more, just another Korean tournament. Who doesn't like Korean League of Legends at the highest level? I don't understand why you're watching this show if you don't like that.
I don't want to watch Dark Wolves versus Spenu.
You don't have to watch those games, man. You don't have to watch those games.
I really don't want to watch Narkyle play against Spenu or IM again. Those
Spenu might be legitimately good though now.
We'll see. They'll also play.
Spenu's jungler is fucking sick.
We'll see. Yeah. Do they still have what's his name in top lane? Oh, I forgot his name.
I always remember that jungler. I don't know. I actually fucking forget. I keep forgetting.
Spenu, Sonic Boom, Soul.
Or their other top laner. Like they need to replace that. So I mean, if Samsung has to hold on to their dead weight, it's quite a bit of an issue. So.
So what's this IEM roster we keep hearing? IEM tournament. Who are the teams confirmed going
today.
for IEM?
No,
we are. The fans want to hear us talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So, as far as I understand, the teams that are attending this IEM tournament, Jin Air, baby, they're finally there. They're finally going to get to play internationally.
Please don't be a disaster.
Then we've got Fnatic, Origin, TSM, CLG, and none of the teams you know. Will Jin Air, I know it's very early, will Jin Air win this IEM tournament? Yes or no? That's all I want to know. Will Jin Air win this IEM tournament?
What roster are they
answer this question for me before I answer yours. Will Trace be playing, or will Rock come out of retirement, or will Rock stop being a police officer for a week, show up, play video games, and help them lead them to a win?
I think Trace will probably end up playing in that tournament. But then we don't know anything about Jin Air's roster. They might have sold all their players by then. Who knows?
Yeah. So
I'm saying this is probably another chance for an EU team
because we have no
to win.
Well, there are Chinese teams going as well. So.
Okay. So let's look at this question then. Let's say we lived in a world where Korea got 4 seeds and then they only got 2 seeds, and Jin Air were in the Group B instead of Cloud9. How would Jin Air have done in Group B? based on how they played.
Second place. Second place.
They beat HQ?
I think Fnatic is. I think Fnatic would have been better than them.
Oh, yeah. I believe that, yeah, for sure. Wait, what?
I think Fnatic has the I think Fnatic has the playstyle and the players in those lanes to beat the way Jin plays. I think Fnatic would be able to. That's OQ and Peanut probably.
I think so.
I think Jin would be the team would lose to Fnatic because I think Fnatic has the play style to beat them.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is a shame though that GBM and Coco, the number 2 and number 3 Korean mid laner, didn't actually get to make it to Worlds though, due to the fact they were on a bit of an ELO hell teammate kind of thing. That is a legitimate bit. It's a bit sad. It's also sad that they're like the 2 of the top 2 Korean ADCs as well, OQ and Pilot. I'm not counting Captain Jack. Didn't get to make it to Worlds either because they might have showed up as well. Hey, Captain Jack. And it's a bit sad that like some of the sort of the roles that maybe Korea's a bit like the Ku and KT are both a bit weak in. Jinair and Najin were really strong in, but because like the rest of their team was fucking shit, save for Duke and GBM, they didn't manage to make it. So it is a bit sad that like those players didn't get to go to Worlds because I thought they were some better than some of their counterparts on KT and Ku. But
at least you can say Gorilla didn't stay on Najin, so you can see him at Worlds again. So
no, because if Gorilla was on Najin, he would have fixed all their problems.
I doubt it.
He would have fixed Goon. He would have fixed Goon.
No,
hey, he did it last year.
He was whatever.
So we're good. I can uninstall this program we had to use for this call.
Yeah, you have to stay on it because
I might need to use it next week.
Yeah, maybe we need it next week. All right. Thanks for watching. Follow the Twitters and stuff. It's all on here somewhere.